Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Tottenham Away. If you're new to the channel, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, put your comments up, and we will get them on the screen during the show. If you're a regular, hey, welcome back. Good to have you. Normally, I do a little intro and I quickly talk about, summarize what the show is going to be about. But do you know something? I'll just leave it at this.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away.
That's right, people. The game is about go-karts. This is where we're at. Now, you might be thinking, whoa, Stel, easy, calm. We've only just started the show. But listen, Iggy, JP, we were, I'm just going straight in. We were there on the weekend at the protests. You guys went into the ground. Iggy made a video that went viral saying he made a big mistake going to the game. JP, you were interviewing loads of fans and people at the protest. You took that video of the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of fans that stayed after the loss and put thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds back into Levy's pockets. And we put that video up that went that also went viral. What a disgrace! What is going on at this club? And that's why I've started the show, guys, with the game is about go-karts. Not glory, go-karts. I mean, the title of the show is Well Done, Daniel Levy, 90s Spurs are back. In the 90s, we finished 14th, 11th, 7th, 10th, 9th, 7th, 12th. We're back there, guys. JP, Iggy, we're back there. This is it.
Were you doing with the odd FA Cup would come home as well?
There's a difference because we had a couple of bits of silverware, right?
All right, the odd bit of silverware, but everyone's moans and groans about the 90s was how, we were terrible. And, when I get into these debates or arguments, whatever you want to call it, with Spurs fans who say, but look what Daniel's done for us. I say to them, what's he done? Oh, don't you remember the 90s? Hello? We're back there. This losing to Brentford at home. Getting pumped in the cup to Nottingham Forest. Losing to Sheffield United away. This is the 90s. This is how the 90s was every week. Listen, JP, man, how you doing?
Pretty much the same, to be fair. It's just, like I said the other day, I think, do you know what? Like, there's nothing to play for the rest of this season. I'll be quite happy if we get dumped out the last two games and don't qualify for Europe. And it is a reset. We know it's a reset, but it's just going to be the level of the reset, right? Whether it's a decent reset or a cheap job, kind of fix it, put a plaster on it, and kind of like keep going kind of thing. So it'd be interesting to see what happens in the next 70 odd days or whatever it is, but kind of it's difficult to not be resigned to just doom and gloom, that because you can see it unfolding in front of us. And the frustrating thing is obviously going to the protest and
seeing loads. Been saying it for 5 years.
I know, but seeing a hell of a lot more people there, and I was kind of like quite impressed with the number of people that was there compared to the other ones. And speaking to so many people coming from afar, I'll have a big shout out to a couple of people soon. But people are frustrated without, like a lot of people didn't have tickets for the game. Kind of like Brian came from Glasgow, just literally to turn up and just like be there because it means something to people. But to see it just dwindle away in front of you and for some people to not want to do something about it, it just baffles me. And even like I know I kind of did that video after the game and people were there having a beer and stuff, and kind of in a way I'm all for that, because you're probably not going to see some of those folks again until the end of next year or something. But go to a local pub. You can go to a pub up the road, round a corner, something like that. You don't have to fuel the fire in a way, because literally you're just pumping cash directly into something that you're not getting any happiness out of, because they can't be happy with the way the football's turning out at the moment. Walking away, that could potentially be Harry Kane's last game, and all you're doing is paving the way for the money machine to carry on. It's just I was quite. I mean, obviously, like Iggy was pissed off because he made his video and stuff like that on like the weekend, but it was like a real downer.
Yep. Iggy, how you doing?
Big up, Lee, by the way.
Yeah, man.
I'm
Big
gonna
up, Lee.
start. I'm gonna start with the pleasantries first and foremost.
Iggy, just
First
so
of
you
all-
know, Iggy, just so you know, and so everyone watching knows, I should have said this at the beginning. We are going to cover the protest. We are going to cover the chairman's statement, the team lineup, the match. We are going to talk about Levy, as always. We are going to talk about the awards ceremony. We are going to talk about some reports in the media, and we are going to talk about Man City and the rebuild. So, just so you know, we are going to cover that all tonight.
I'm sure,
So we
man.
don't blow the load straight away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. First and foremost, I wanted to big up everyone that came down to the protest. Listen, I met some really, really wonderful people firsthand. Some of which are in the comments all the time, but you get to put the face to the name. We get introduced by their proper name, and then they tell us the YouTube name, and then we're like, yeah, we know you are, but obviously we wouldn't know their actual name. And there's many. I know you just mentioned one earlier on, JP, but I listen.
Brian.
I'm really terrible. I'm terrible with names.
Brian.
And yeah, I met Brian and I met a few others. And my worry is that I'm gonna forget someone if I mention names, and then I'll miss one or two, and I don't want to do that. But you guys know who you are. We spoke at the protest. And you know what? It was great to see such a turnout for such a really worthwhile cause, and more the numbers are growing. And that's a massive positive. It's still a shame though. Opposite us on the pavement, even ones that were going into the shop and blah blah blah, even just people just standing on the opposite side of the pavement would just stare at us and listen to what we have to say. Just come over. Just come over. Like I say all the time, you don't have to have conversations. You don't have to even converse with absolutely anyone if you choose not to. Just standing there in numbers, and there was a few people who just stood with us. They weren't having conversation. They were standing with us, supporting this cause, and and by the end of the game, obviously, I was like, what will it take? As I said, I made a mistake going to the game. I felt that at half time when it was like a party like atmosphere. There was music being played, so loud that you can't even have conversations. Music being played so loud that at the final whistle, they turned it right up to the maximum volumes to drown out all the boos. Things like that at the ground. This is what's happening more and more and more. They're trying to drown everything and everyone that's got anything non-positive to say or anything that goes against the club. I know I'm going a bit long-winded here, man, but there was so much emotion for me personally on that day. Good emotion, meeting everyone at the protest way before the game, getting into the stadium. You always, because I hadn't been there since March, so I always enjoy making my way in, and then when then the game started, and Harry Kane's wonderful goal, finally from a free kick. It just seems to just go all downhill from then onwards, and it's just a continuation of what has been an absolute shit show of a season. And I think it's going to continue at Leeds. I don't see us going to win at Leeds. And the other thing is, what good did it do going in the Champions League? What good would it do going to the Conference League if we qualify for it? And if someone said to me, "Do you know what? If we don't go to Europe, it'll be a massive reset," I'll sign up for that. But I don't think. I think we're just going to hear more excuses going into if should we not qualify for Europe altogether. It would just be like, well, we can't go for this guy or for that guy because of the lack of Europe or no European football, so therefore the squad has to be trimmed, and with the money won't be there to spend as much as we would have liked to for the next season. So I don't know what's good for us moving forward. I really don't know what's good enough moving forward. What would be the best option? But I don't see anything good coming out of it, whether we enter a Conference League or not.
Before I come to Lee, Elias, can you please stop playing not games with Ligma in the comments, because you're spamming the chat with it. Just keep it football or Spurs related, if you don't mind, my man. Thank you. Lee, how are you doing? And why don't you explain to us how you met Clive Allen on the weekend? You know, legend.
That's got to be the most random encounter I've ever had. So Saturday, we were our club was hosting a five-a-side tournament for under sixes up to under 10s, and it was about 2:30 in the afternoon, 3 o'clock, and I saw this guy walking around thinking, I recognise him, don't know who it was, and then didn't think anything more of it. And about 8:30, we're doing all the medal presentations and stuff like that. And he's standing about 5 foot away from me, and I'm looking at him thinking, I recognise him. I didn't want to make out I was trying to stalk him or anything like that. And in the end, I just went up and tapped him on the shoulder. I said, "Are you who I think you are?" And he went, "Who do you think I am?" And I went, "You're Clive Allen, right?" And he went, "Yeah." I said, "Blimey, what are you doing here?" And he said, "Oh, one of my boys is one of my family members. His boy's playing in the tournament." So it was just the most random encounter ever. But we had a good old chat for about 10, 15 minutes. I had to get the lowdown of what happened in the game from him. And to be quite honest with you, he didn't have much in the way of good words to say about the second half, apparently. It was an absolute shambles. But yeah, it's really nice meeting to him. Lovely chap. Really chatty and stuff like that. So it was ended out on a good day, really. Not too bad. But random. So random.
That's amazing. He's an absolute legend, Clive Allen. I mean, that's awesome.
Hey, Andy Lloyd, I like that. I like that thumbnail.
I'm a bit behind, so yeah, I know my camera's blurry. My internet's a bit slow. It'll catch up eventually, mate. It'll get there in the end. Look, I've tried to go through as many people as I can. Hello to everyone in the comments. Hope you're all well. Big yourselves up. You're getting your wish, Stel, with Slot. It's not actually my wish. I wanted Poch or Nagelsmann, but because I knew we weren't going to get them, this is the next best option, in my opinion. But anyway, we'll get into it. I just want to say a quick big up to a few people as well. First of all, Lauren and David. Awesome meeting you guys at the protest. Honestly, top people, these two, regulars on the show. Also, big up to Brian Maguire. As JP said, travelled down from Scotland just to protest. Also, Charlie there in the background in the white t-shirt. Big up to Charlie. Great meeting. I love Marmite again. Lewis, great to meet Apocalypse Now. Seb Shah, he was another one that was there. Richard Cracknell actually came. Last word on Spurs. Did an interview with him. Really good to hear from him. Brilliant having him at the protest. He only said good words about us. You can check out the interview on our channel. Jonas, who came from Finland. Dan, we interviewed him as well. Tommy, was it from LA that you interviewed? JP, yep. I think he did as well. A lovely woman who used to work for Spurs, who's had enough, believe it or not.
Anita.
She was there. Anita,
and also Chris, a partner who was good. Excellent.
Big up to Chris as well. Yeah, look, there's a lot of you guys at the protest, man. Nothing but love and respect, and big up to all of you guys. So, look, let's get into it. We did our thing. We did our protest. The numbers are bigger. The numbers are growing. The voice was loud. We're getting support from people that never supported us before. It's getting there. The club is under a lot of pressure. Daniel Levy's in trouble. There's no doubt he is in hot water now. We saw a lot of things happen during the game, which we're going to cover. The banners. This isn't even from our protest group. These are other fans now bringing in banners. So it's getting there. But I want to start off with the chairman's statement, okay? So in the match day program, there was a statement. This is just so everyone can see. There was a statement from the chairman. I want to break down the key bits and discuss. So this is before the game itself. And in the statement, the key takeaways were, beg your pardon, the computer's a bit slow. The club will spend their period ahead of next season working relentlessly to position the club for on-pitch success and football that you will love to come and watch. Your frustration has been understandable, and all of us at the club have shared it. We have undertaken a thorough and rigorous review of our footballing operations. It took 23 years for them to do that. We shall spend the period ahead of next season working relentlessly to position our club for on-pitch success and football that you will love to come and watch. Every element of the club's operation is geared towards delivering that. I wish all of you and your families good health and a wonderful summer. Yours, Daniel. Not Coy's Daniel, just yours, Daniel. And in big bold letters, we shall spend the period ahead of next season working relentlessly to position our club for on-pitch success and football you will love to come and watch. What do you make of it? Is it absolute BS? Have we heard this all before? I do remember a couple of years ago, we're going to bring back the DNA.
Rinse and repeat.
We're going to... Scott Munn's here now. And what do you make of it? Lee? When you read these comments,
I can't read
in Daniel Levy's statement.
It just reads like it doesn't read as though there's any blame taking there at all. There's no responsibility being taken. It's just like we're just as frustrated as you are. Well, you know what, Levy? You've got the position and the power to have done something about it, right? It's not as though this is the last couple of weeks. It's been like this for absolutely ages, especially this season. It just sounds like it's, oh yeah, we're sorry, we're gonna, do something about it next season. Well, show us then, because at the moment, it just sounds like you're deflecting as usual. Just take responsibility for it. It's obvious that it's screwed from the bottom to the top, and I hate it when people don't take responsibility. It's got to stop at the top, right? It's got to start with them. We can piss and moan at the players as much as we like, but at the end of the day, they're the guys that make the decisions. They're the guys that decide whether to spend money or not. They're the guys that decide to back a manager or not and give him what he wants.
What type of manager to bring in? All of that.
Yeah. He's chatting shit.
I just can't even read it. I just can't even read it because every time you read it, he makes it even angrier, doesn't it?
It's chatting shit, pure and simple. There's no other way to say it. Sometimes you just got to call it how it is.
The first sentence should be,
you've got to call him out.
Smell bullshit.
We understand your frustrations. We've seen the protests.
Who's we?
We understand.
He doesn't understand anything.
No, we understand. We understand that we have not been on par this season, and we're going to do everything we can to change that next season. Not saying, well, we know what your frustrations are. No, our frustrations are you. Take responsibility and understand that the failings come from you. People are calling you out. People in the close to you that have worked for you have called you out in the last 6 months, saying you're the trouble. You're the one that makes the trouble. You're the one that sticks your oar in where it's not wanted. Listen to these people. If you can't listen and take the criticism on, you might as well just, stick your fingers up in the air like that and go, I don't give a shit what your fans think. This is my club. I'll do whatever I like with it. Because that's what it sounds like.
Listen, the stadium made it clear to him. We want him. We want you out. We want Daniel Levy out, and they sang those songs at the stadium to the point where his wife had to with her arm had to kind of pacify him. I don't know.
Console him.
My heart bleeds. My heart bleeds.
Console him. So he's hearing it. He's hearing fully well what the fans and to those who at the final whistle, when the referee blows the whistle 3 times to say it's the end of the game, on the third time he whistled, the music was ramped up to the maximum where you thought.
Oh, we're coming to that. We're coming to that because
my ears were going to burst.
He did
my ears were going to burst. It was disgraceful. But you know what? He doesn't understand anything. These are just words. It's just he thinks by saying those words it's pacifying. Oh, he understands. We're going to do better next season. What are you going to do better than what did you do better last season on the back of getting top 4? What came of that? What did he do this season? This season was an absolute disaster of a season. Harry Kane kept us afloat. He really did. Harry Kane's goals kept us afloat because we would have been in a without him. We would have been in a relegation battle. We would have been sinking faster than the Titanic. Honestly, we would have been scrapping it out with the Evertons and the Leeds and those. Yeah,
Leicester's
Leicester.
and stuff like
I'm
that.
convinced of it. Honestly, I think we was in deep stuck.
Just
And
hold on, Iggy. There's a comment there by Mo at 8:57.
yeah.
If Levy spends 300 million, I'll back him. He's spent more than that already. This is the point. He doesn't need to be the one spending the money. He should just every season leave it up to the director of football
Here's
and the
your
manager.
budget.
Here's your budget.
Here's your budget.
This is what
Give
you've
me
got
a
to get rid
return.
of. You go and get your players. That's how much you've got to spend. But he doesn't. He sticks his nose in. He tries to grab a pound here and there, and that's the point. He spent more than 300 million, Mo, and he's done absolutely nothing with it because he's spent to try to gain for the club by buying players that he thinks at some point he can sell on. That's the issue. We've never disagreed that he hasn't spent money. He just has spent it really badly.
And keeping the same manager so that the system can develop, and then the next manager doesn't come in and inherit the previous manager's players that were bought in for his system. By the way, I just want to quickly say, big up to all the purple and gold massive. This movement's actually growing. A lot of people turning up with the scarves now at the protest on a match day. And Phil P, big up, turned up with purple and gold balloons. It's growing.
I saw him on the pitch.
It's happening.
I saw him on the pitch, Phil. Pitch, Phil.
Got to say big up to that.
One thing I'll say, Stel, also in terms of just to carry on a little bit on what Iggy was saying.
There you go. Look, 300 million, the right place.
That's
what Lee's basically trying to say.
About what we heard, and we heard that the Levy out chants. The funniest thing was the fans from Brentford were singing, "We want you to stay. We want you to stay, Daniel Levy. We want you to stay." But it's fucking getting piss taken out of us by Brentford.
Yeah, but this is it.
It's not even your Man United or Liverpool's or Arsenal or anyone like that. It's Brentford.
Yeah, I know. Chiswick Roundabout. If anyone doesn't know where Chiswick Roundabout is, it's anyway.
Near Brentford.
The thing is, if you speak to any non-Spurs fan, they'll pretty much say to you two things. Your chairman, he's the problem, innit? And the other thing they'll say is, why did you sack Poch? They all say the same thing pretty much if you have an honest, humble conversation with him. But this is why I was saying to you, film the fans all buying food and drink after the game. That is the problem. Our fans are the problem. Every other fan base knows what the issue is at Tottenham. But our fans, our own fans, they don't want to do anything about it. And I still get criticism for doing it. I still get heat for saying the fans are to blame. But I don't know. What else could we do? We do everything we can. With that statement, I found it interesting that there's key words he said in there.
We and they.
On pitch success. He didn't say football team trophy on pitch. That says to me they're reading what's being said in the media and what fans are saying. Because all fans, they use the words off the pitch were great, on the pitch. They've actually used the words on pitch, which says to me this is a bit of PR here. And they specifically mentioned football you would love to come and watch. Because another big criticism is saying, oh, this football's turgid. Oh, it's too pragmatic. So key sound bites they've picked up on are on pitch, good football to watch. On pitch, they've specifically targeted those words, I feel.
The right manager.
No mention of trophies. No much of getting back into Champions League. Nothing about competing for the Premier League. The key words they've put into that statement: on pitch, good football to watch. On pitch, and if you can read between the lines, it's a fucking PR stunt again, man. That's how I look at it.
It's their PR people.
That's
you
how
know
I look
it's
at
their
it.
PR people anyway. You know it is. Like, that's obviously not come from him, right? That's just been sat down and written by
Connor Cullen.
who no newspaper headlines and how to how to place marketing in the right area. And here, Daniel, sign this.
I saw a certain person put up a video earlier filming you lot at the protest, and someone in the comments, I didn't because I was on my YouTube account. I haven't got the password for my other one, so it'd be obvious that it came from here. But someone put on there, it'd be nice to see Chris. Or I've just called it out now, so I don't know who it is. But it said, nice to see Chris to go and join in. And then I almost typed in there, yeah, but then he wouldn't get his brown envelopes every week, would he? And I thought, oh, to just stop myself from clicking submit, because I thought, no, because then it will lead back to this channel because of the name, but I don't care anymore. You know what I mean? You can't just sit on your channel and going, oh, yeah, this, that, the other. And then you actually film other people doing a process and then use it on your channel as to get views and stuff like that. It's just... Man, you're no interest. You just pisses me off.
He's
Go and talk to him.
Make a decision. Just make a freaking decision and own it. Let's stop pretending we're journalists and we're trying to report the news. Let's stop being fans and take a position on it. So we all think the chairman's statement is BS. There was a game of football. The starting lineups. We started with Foster, Chicken Royale, Sanchez, Longley, Davis in a back four. That when we saw this news an hour before kickoff, we were all like, "Oh no, oh God, what the hell?" Panic stations. And then we went with a midfield four of Danjuma, Bissouma, Skip, and Son. Bissouma gets a start. Højbjerg was either dropped or injured, and Danjuma starts. So another one turning heads because Danjuma's on loan and Richarlison cost us 65 million and Richarlison's on the bench. Anyway, but still, there's a bit of hope because you're thinking, well, the best player at Brentford's Ivan Toney. He's not Luca Toney, like I said the other day, but Ivan Toney. And he's got an 8-match suspension because of betting charges. You're thinking, all right, well, their best player's not playing. I mean, JP, Iggy, you were there first half. I heard we played good football, in control, should have scored a few goals. Second half, we came out and we looked like Rotherham United.
JP, take it away. I'll go after you.
I mean, first half wise, you know, it kind of like it was better. I was really happy to see that we hadn't conceded a goal in the first 2 minutes. I was really happy for it to go to 6 minutes. I was even more happy when we actually scored the first goal. I think Emerson also had a good header, which was kind of like well saved, if I remember. You could say he should have ended, you know, he should have scored that. And towards the back end of the half,
you put on the silent thing. Sorry.
Towards the back of the half, we also had a couple of good like chances, right? But and we kind of didn't put them to bed in a way. And second half, it was just utter dross, to be honest. It was like literally, like if ever there was a game to sum up our season, that was it. Started off well, best ever start in the Premier League and all of that palaver, and then look at the way we're finishing the season. It was perfectly summed up our season, that game, I think. You could say Brentford came out and kind of changed it around and did a little bit. And I think I heard Ben Davis's interview. He came out and said, "Oh, like, you know, like Brentford changed it and we couldn't cope with that." We're fucking professional footballers on a pitch. Why are you telling me you can't cope with it?
Couldn't cope with a through ball. Great.
Yeah.
Cheers,
I mean, I only saw the 2 goals on the highlights after I got back from the tournament, but to me, both of those goals just looked like they were typical Forster. I can't get down quick enough to save a ball. I mean, they look like goals he should have been saving. To be quite honest with you, it looks like he went under him before he could even get towards the ground. From what I saw.
No, yeah, pretty much. And it, you know, kind of like it just petered out, to be honest. Like basically Brentford came out and went at us in the second half, and it would be that second half was literally our first half in the last 5 games. Dog shit.
Yeah, Tottenham Hotspur. There was one good highlight of the first half, though. We managed to catch it. Well, someone caught it and sent it to me. behind the goal. And it was a phenomenal strike. And it might be the last time we ever see Harry Kane score at White Hart Lane. If you didn't see it, sit back and enjoy.
As a Spurs player, still.
As a Spurs player, sorry, yeah, because he might stay probably will stay in the Premier League. But check this out from Class A. What a hit that is, man. Let's play it again. It's just too good. It's beautiful. Honestly, without him, we're in trouble, man. We're absolutely in trouble, aren't we?
He called that sweet. He called that sweet as well, didn't he? And as much as like I loved it, technically it's not. Would you call that a free kick?
Nah.
Without wanting to take anything away from him.
It's a layoff. He put lots of dip, swerve, and curve. That's what I call it. Dip, swerve, and curve on it. Top bins, no goalie saving it. He hit that crisp, caught it bang on the money.
So still no go from a free kick then, right?
Nah. But look, that was the highlight of the game. I do want to talk about certain things in that second half. Now, some fans say that Ben Davies, he's a solid 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10. And I've always said he is not good enough for Spurs. On the basis, one, his passing isn't good enough, but he hasn't got the pace. And anyone with pace, exactly what we saw when Dia do, that through ball, he's in trouble. And you cannot have players in the back line like that. It's bad enough we've got Sanchez playing centre half who looks like he's going to fall over every time he kicks a ball or tries. He always looks under pressure when he's not under pressure. So I mean, what are your thoughts on Ben Davies? Because he got a 3-year contract I think it was last season or in the summer. Fans saying, no, good squad play. And I was up in arms saying, no, he's not. He's not good enough for Tottenham if we want to be a serious Big Six club that challenges. And that's exactly why. What do you make of Ben Davies? Would you keep him around, or would you say, if we're going to rebuild, get him out? For me, I'd get him out. Where are you at with Ben Davies?
I don't think he's a bad player. I think he's done us a good, solid, performances over the years. I think he's getting on a bit now, isn't he? He's not exactly a spring chicken anymore. I think he'd be useful in those, early round cup games or something like that. But I don't think he can play week in, week out. And he's certainly never been the level that we've needed in that. But, I think he definitely stands out as one of those guys that at least goes out on that pitch and plays for, I hate to say it, he plays for the shirt. Because he always gives 100%, but his 100% is maybe not as good as some other players, etc. But you never see him head down or anything like that. That's what I take from it. But he's not good enough to move forward with 100%. Absolutely.
Iggy, what do you think? By the way, guys, they can't copyright the video because the person that sent it to me owns the rights to it. It was filmed on their phone. It's when you take it off of other channels, you get copyright, just in case. But I appreciate your concerns. We're not going down again. Believe you me. If we do, then I'll give up. But Iggy, that aside, Ben Davies, would you keep him as a squad player? Or are you, not good enough? Not even off the bench?
It's got to go, man. It's been 10 years. How long has he been in this club now? Come on, man. He's still part of that Pochettino squad. He's got to go. Dyer's got to go. We need to step up. I'd rather have a few from the under-18s being as part of the squad. At least they've come from a winning mentality. By the way, it was great to see them. I forgot to mention that half time. They all came on and they showed us 2 trophies. Not one, 2 trophies appeared at White Hart Lane on Saturday. And there's probably ones that we're the only ones we're going to see in a long, long time now. Anyway, given things stands, but no, Davies has got to go. He's part of that old regime. We need to move on with these players. I have no emotional attachment to any of the players at the club, not one. So for me to say that he's got to go becomes very easy. he's done his time. I think he's been a decent servant. I think he's better in a three at the back rather than the four that we played at the back. So my interpretation of the game was this: it felt like an end of season friendly or a pre-season friendly. It had the atmosphere of one. It had a party atmosphere, as I mentioned earlier, and there was not enough intensity. There wasn't any nervous energy in it. There was nothing about that game that said to me it was a competitive must-win match. It felt like the pressure was off. It was like the flip-flops were out, and we played at a nice little pace. What Brentford tried to do the first half is just trying to contain it, trying to remain in the game, just kind of suss us out a little bit. We had a 4-4-2 situation for playing it, and there was enough pace in our team. How you can drop Porro in this team is beyond my comprehension. The only one that offers a little bit of pace on the right hand side, and we've gone and dropped him. We've gone and played Emerson and Davis as fullbacks, Longley and Davis on that side, on our left side. Their right worried me because I knew that if they ever come into the game and at 1-0 down, you have to come back into the game. I thought that would be the side that they would actually try and do something in. And we, in the second half, although we had many chances leading up to that first half, we didn't put away. We didn't kill it. We didn't kill it off by getting a second goal. We went in at half time having missed a lot of chances. We didn't have the pace to get in and beyond their centre backs because we had Kulusevski and Kane, who were blessed technically, but not good enough, not pacey enough to get in and behind. In the wings, we were struggling to get into that game. So second half, what they did, they as in Brentford, up the tempo just a little bit. They didn't go gung ho. They didn't really go like full out. They just up to notch a little bit.
Pressured us a bit more, didn't they?
What he did, and Mbemwa, is his name Mbemwa? Mbemwa, I can't remember how to pronounce his name. Mbemwa. He basically went to the touchline. He hogged the touchline, creating a space where Davies had to go out to him, and he just created enough space, kept doing that, where the ball had to be played in between Longley and Davies, and he knew he would rip Davies for pace. And they did that twice. They literally did it for 10 minutes. They equalised and they took the lead. The moment they took the lead, we was in trouble. We didn't have nothing about us to say we was going to get back into the game. We had not, like I said earlier, there was not enough intensity in the play. There wasn't enough sharpness. We didn't move the ball quickly enough. And then lo and behold, Skip got intercepted outside the box. We hogged the ball too long because there was too many static players. Got intercepted, which led to the third goal. And that goal completely and absolutely killed the game. And like I said, Brentford didn't really have to work that hard. All they did was just up the tempo a little bit and played a little bit quicker football. And they had pace in their forwards to get into behind, which was a really slow back four. But we were slow throughout the whole game, really and truly. And they didn't have to work that hard. That's the thing that killed me. They didn't have to work that hard for that victory. They just turned it on enough for 10, 15 minutes into that second half to get the job done. We had nothing after that. We absolutely.
Can I ask you about this second half? By the way, big up Phil P. Everyone save up for balloons for next season. Balloons. Big up Phil P. Right. So here we go. Let the shitstorm kick off now. I sat here for months and months and months saying, get behind Conte, back the manager, don't turn against the manager. Everyone's allowed their opinion. I get it. But this attack on Conte, which is what it was, he's stubborn. He doesn't change it. This obsession with the back three. He doesn't want to change the back three. Oh, it doesn't work. Stop playing it. You can't play with wing backs. We haven't got the players. Okay, all right. Play with three in the middle, not two. Since Ryan Mason's come in, he's played 3 different formations. On 3 occasions, he's gone with a back 4. This back 4 has been catastrophic. And Ryan Mason has picked up 4 points out of 18. 1 win in 6. Right? Clearly, all this hype, we should have got Mason earlier. You know, he should have taken over. He plays more on the front foot. Ryan Mason's has been a disaster. Conte was hands down the right option. But Levy should force him to say, until the contract expired, or bring in a Harry Redknapp, bring in an experienced head. Say, Harry, come in 3 months. Here's a gig for you. Do your best you can. By putting in the Stellini, by putting in a Ryan Mason, by giving fans what they wanted, which is let's go to a back four, let's change it up, let's play through the midfield. It has not worked. All the things I was saying, it's not the system. Will Stewart and I did a whole show on Conte's formation and trying to understand what he's trying to do. And it's the players that are the problem. It's the poor transfers. And now it's all showing up because not only was the back four exposed yesterday, but this Danjuma, who I also mentioned, please tell me what Danjuma did yesterday. I said all along, Danjuma's good against rubbish, low-level teams. His history proves that. If you look at all the data on Danjuma, he's good against poor opposition. Brentford are good, right? What did he do? Richarlison came on. What did he do? When are we just going to admit as a fan base, or tell me I'm wrong, it's not the managers at Spurs. It's the players. They're not good enough, and that rests on the owners. It's on them. They hire the recruitment team. They hire the directors of football. They sack the managers left, right, and centre. They allow players like Dyer to be at this club for 8-9 years. Is Conte almost, I don't want to say weight off his shoulders. He doesn't care. He's got paid. He's on holiday. He couldn't give a shit. But is it a case of that some of these managers now, they're looking at us thinking, fucking told you. Mourinho, Roma, Europa Cup final. Brian Hill, Lamella, Europa Cup final. Ndombele, Galini lifting Serie A, even if they're on the bench. Conte's on holiday. Is it not a case that all these people, they're looking at us now saying, what did we tell you?
But look, listen, let's put one thing straight. One Conte came out and said what he said at Southampton, he had to go. And I've got no problem with that. What my problem stems post-Conte is the fact, first and foremost, it took 10 days. We was in the middle of international duty and it took over a week to just get rid of him. What's worse is the fact that we had not a replacement. Some people are saying Redknapp or anybody should have come in. The moment Conte leaves, we should have announced the next manager, even if it was one for the next 10 games. We didn't do that. We hired Stellini, an assistant coach of the manager that just left. What was the thinking behind that process? And secondly, what was we expecting Stellini to show? What differently to what Conte had done? So I didn't understand that move. We then get rid of Stellini post the Newcastle match to bring Mason into the picture. So the top four, we was fourth when Conte left. Okay, we was fourth in the league when Conte left, and then post that, Stellini and Mason, we find ourselves 7th or 8th in the league. Now Aston Villa beat Brighton and we lose to Leeds. They go over us, and we could end up 8th in the league. What an absolute shit show! Who, like Lee said earlier, who's accountable for that? That famous word, accountability, that I've been talking about all season long. Who is accountable for making those mistakes, which have ultimately compromised the second half of the season? Because we've gone from Champions League spot, you think the worst case scenario would go in Europa. We're going out of Europe. Who is accountable for making these decisions? Who is accountable for those results obtained because of those decisions? And then he wants to send me an email. He wants to send me a letter, love Daniel, telling me we'll go again next season. Go fuck yourself, man. Go fuck yourself with that bullshit. Honestly, I am fucking fuming over the whole shit show that's happened all second half of the season. What I had to endure on Saturday, and what's ultimately happened since then. And you want to come and take the piss out of me with that letter saying, come again next season. For what? For what? What is it I'm coming back for? Because we obtained the Champions League. We went out of the Champions League. We missed out on Europa, missed out on all these. What are we obtaining by keeping on turning? What are we going to see? You say we say because you said we. You said
Brentford.
There's an F1 track. There's an F1 track there next year, Riggy.
What's that? A Formula One track.
There's an F1 track there.
If I want to go F1, I'll go.
That's why you want to go back.
if I want to see Formula One, I will go to.
I told you guys. I said at the start of the show, the game is about go-karts. The game is about go-karts.
Yes, Mario.
Well, it's ironic. It's ironic that they're building a Formula One track and Levy is the one that drives us around the bend. I'm just saying.
I
think.
Listen,
I think what I would say.
Brentford came to Spurs, JP. Brentford came to Spurs, JP. Their best player is suspended for 8 months, and their front line made us look like a Division 2
average.
or a non-league team.
Average.
But we know, we get irrespective pieces by Brentford. They only created 4 or 5 killer chances, but pow.
Still 15 minutes.
But irrespective of that, you know our defense is shit, right? You know our defense is crap.
So that's the point.
Irrespective
that's the thing,
of
isn't it?
Whoever's there. And I think just to answer your question, just like going back a second, in terms of I'm giving you a pat on the back for calling it right. I think what I would say is I kind of hope a lot of people maybe try and understand now that, do you know what, we had a manager who's won stuff in lots of different countries and he knows a little bit about football. So everyone who sits in an armchair and kind of says he should play 4 at the back, he shouldn't play this, he should play 3 in midfield, he's a professional manager, right? He's won things in lots of different countries, leagues, etc. He must know a thing or two, right? There's got to be a reason why he's doing it.
JP,
and I think a few of us know.
Did you see him on Saturday, JP? Did you see
him
on
Saturday?
Saturday?
I'm talking about Conte.
Oh, Conte.
Yeah, I'm talking about Conte. Sorry, just to be clear. He obviously knows the reason why he's playing a back 3. He knows why he's trying with his wing backs. He knows that he wanted maybe a better wing back, and somebody went bought him a wing back and said, "There you go, lad, play with that one." Like he's been and done this before, right?
You know what the irony is, JP?
Everyone. Well,
JP, the irony is when we played the back 3 with the wing backs, we had full backs. Now that we've got the wing backs, we play fucking right backs and left backs. What's that all about? We got the wing backs and we playing a back 4. When we did have the wing, we played wing backs with 2 right back and left backs. I don't understand the logic. There's no logic. What was the point of putting Kulusevski up front with Kane? Where's the logic of putting those two together?
It's because the owners believe that
they know,
and better. a lot of fans did this as well, and they were wrong. I'm going to say, if you were one of these, you were wrong. It's okay to be wrong, by the way. I got shit wrong. I said we would never get top 4 last year. I got it wrong. But a lot of fans said another manager can get a better tune out of this lot. That was the mistake. Another manager cannot get a better tune out of this lot.
And that's purely what I was trying to say. And that's purely what I was trying to say still, is that his experience, he was doing it for a reason, right? He knows, right? He literally knows and was doing it for a reason. I'm sure he'd like to play expansive football, but if you don't have the tools to do that, how can you? So what do you do?
The thing is,
even with him shutting up shop, we were still letting him frigging goals left, right, and centre. But he had us in that 4th place spot.
Roma are playing some of the worst football I've seen them play. They go out to away games, stink the places out. They do it at home as well. But what they've done, they've got 11, 12, 13 players, whatever it is, and I don't know how he does it, but they've got him to buy into it. And the thing is, tonight they drew at home to Salernitano, a relegation battle. It's 2-2 at home. Do you know what? The Roma fans don't give a shit, because back-to-back finals in Europe. Now, whether you like it or not, they're like, do you know what? Listen, you keep getting us into finals, we're good with it. 7th, 8th, and 8th. We don't care about league position when you've already obtained 2 finals. Now, they know he's only going to be around for 2-3 years, so they'll swallow the shitty football, because they know that by giving him what he wants, by giving the players that are functional to the way he wants to play, which is dire football, by the way, I have to say, and Conte is no different. But I've always said
they knew that before they got him, right?
They knew that getting in, they knew that. They were buying into it. It's like, you know what? You buy into what I'm trying to do. You may not love it, but I guarantee you, It will lead us to success. It will lead us to finals, and you ultimately winning a trophy. They won a trophy last season. They're going to win. No, they got a 50% chance of winning the trophy again this season. Do you think that their fans have woken up the following day after they got the final saying, "Shit, we're 8th in the league"? Do you think the West Ham fans have woken up the next day saying, "We're 15th in the league," or will they be absolutely buzzing to be playing in a cup final, to be involved in
I
the
think
European Cup final?
the
Where are
more
we?
important question,
We're 8th in the league and
Iggy,
out of all competitions.
Iggy, the more important question is, do you think their chairman woke up saying that?
Yeah, no, I agree. I totally agree.
Their
And this is
chairman would
what.
have woke up and going, do you know what? He's taken us to a final.
But we
Again.
won. But the thing is, we have three situations. We got our team's not good enough. We got absolutely clueless and shit show with regard to managers, and we got a demanding fan base that want to see good looking football. They don't want to buy into the shitty football. They don't. Even if it means that if you stick with it for 2 or 3 years, you have the most chances of bringing a trophy with the 2 managers that we had, by the way. Bringing trophies at White Lane, but we fucked that off. We don't want that. We say, yeah, we're 4th in the league, but I'm watching shitty football, and I can understand that. They're paying customers. But that's what we are, guys. We're not fans. We're paying customers. You pay £2,000 a season, whatever it is you pay for your season to get older, and you want to see some good football. It's your divine right, absolutely. But the moment your chairman brings in a manager that has his own philosophy, the very minimum you can do is back it or back him. Otherwise, there was no point of bringing him in. If you don't want to buy into you want to see good football, they were the worst appointment. Who's accountable for that? Who's accountable for that? Someone that charges you $2,000 and then gives you that manager. Who's accountable for that?
But the people don't moan at him. They moan at him.
No, they get taken on the managers. And so far, we've seen how many managers? What we are, number 15, number 16. Where are we now? Now we want to bring Slot in. For what? Slot's got to be smart. For me, Slot has got to be smart. Yes, perhaps he wants to challenge himself, come to the Premier League to bring his product, as it is football, to the Premier League, but go to the right club. Because in this club, I don't know. I don't know if it's the right place for him. And the thing is, he's got to make his next move a good move, because he's taking off in his career. By fucking up at Tottenham, which is probably likely, let's have it right. There's probably a high probability that he won't get backed, a high probability that he will get sacked. Then why doesn't want to make that next move to Tottenham when it can play a little bit more safe?
Can I just say about Arne Slot, right? Oh, by the way, people in the comments asking if they can come on the show. I just want to keep it the 4 of us on Mondays because it makes for a better conversation. When it's like 7, 8 people, it becomes a bit more of a free for all. So the Friday and the Wednesday shows, I'm happy for people to come on and the watch alongs. But this one, I just want to keep it a little bit more small. So it's nothing personal.
Don't forget the fan show as well. There's a fan show.
That's the following week. But with Arne Slot, the way he plays is you must have a football playing goalkeeper. You must have at least one of the 2 centre backs who are quick and the most important positions in his team, because he normally plays a 4-2-3-1, sometimes a 4-3-3. The 2 in front of the 4, they control pretty much everything. And actually, a lot of the goals they score come through those 2. In fact, most of the goals come through those 2. So if we don't bring in a quality centre half, probably 2, a quality football playing goalkeeper, and those 2 pivot players that push up, drop deep, and create pretty much most of the goals goes through them. If we don't bring in those players, I'm telling you now, Arne Slot's football is going to be a disaster at Spurs. An absolute disaster. Right. If we do that for him though, I think he's going to impress a lot of people. But again, you could say that had we have bought the players for Conte's system, had we have brought Kim Min-jae and Skriniar for Mourinho's system, had we have bought those extra 2 or 3 players that Poch wanted, so we're back to that again, and that's what it's going to come down to.
I think the only difference with him probably though still is that I think they'll look for him to get the cheaper level of player. Do you know what I mean? It's not going to be going like I don't think he's going to be saying
sometimes an issue.
No,
I've said this all season.
No, I know.
We as fans, I'm not going to be in that. We as a fan base need to get our heads out of our asses thinking that we're getting these 70, 80, 90 million pound players into our club. That's never fucking happening.
No.
We need to find talent. We need to find good talent that can be coached, and that's the problem. I'm looking at it now. In Arne Slot comes in. Where's Porro going to fit in? Where's he going to fit in?
Kind of probably not, right? But
Well, actually,
Arnie
Arnie slots back
It's a
four.
loan to buy, isn't it?
The wing backs push up high. He although he plays in
Okay.
the back four,
Those pivots cover.
He goes in. He goes in. If we include the goalkeeper on the attack, he goes into a 1. So the goalie's the 1, a 1-2-8, or 1-2-1-7.
He goes
He
for it.
overloads the midfield. It's very,
Mm.
and it's not like build-up play like City. It's forward. It's more progressive. It's more explosive. When it pops. But that defense is so susceptible.
That's got to be solid.
He found
That's
out.
a solid point of it.
Well, Mourinho's caught him out twice. So that's
I think
the
my point.
downside of it.
I think my point, Lee, was the fact that if you go and have your Contes and you go and have your like Mourinho's, the type of defender they want that established defender, right? Whereas the difference with Slot will be is that they'll ask him literally to say, who have you spotted in the kind of like Dutch league? In the lower levels,
I see more.
Can we
that's
go
going
and
back
get
to more like a
people
Pochettino area,
that?
right?
Yeah,
absolutely, and that's why I think. But so he
and I think it'll be
harder
easier
though
to
now.
fund. It'll be easier
Competition's
to
harder
fund
though now.
Getting 5-6 players at that level than it would
JP,
be
look
for
at the
Conte.
competition we're up against now. We've got Man City on absolute domination levels. Arsenal, they're back. Man United, they're back. Newcastle,
We're not going to be near there for another
Brighton,
4 years.
Villa, they're
like
growing. They're showing signs of trying to break into that top 6. Liverpool and Chelsea will not be like they were last season. No way.
That's how many clubs? 7, you said?
That's 8.
8. So that's 9th, right? Is like where we're going to be. But
unless we can hit Villa and Brighton, then we're in a top 6 race. It's a top 6 race.
There's going to be no chance of us getting near those Champions League spots for like another 4 or 5 years.
Not if we do a serious rebuild and we clean out the 15 to 18 players that need to leave this club. If we're serious, we need 12 to... Actually, I'm being a bit harsh. 12 for me, 12 to 15 players have to go, because I do believe an Arnie Slot, he can, given time, and let him just work. Even if we finish 10th for 3 years in a row, let him develop the Skips, the Spences, the
fans need to do it. Fans need
to do it
too,
who's young as well. Well, this is where the club needs to stop putting out these stupid club statements and saying, sorry, we fucked it. We're doing a major rebuild. Can you give us 3 or 4 years?
They will never do a mea culpa. They will never say.
Which is why what JP said. Man. Well, I'm not saying they are going to do it, but JP said to me, the fans have got to buy into this. Well, how are the fans going to buy into it if the club don't tell us what they're going to do?
We're the most least. Listen, it's hard because I understand why fans are so impatient. I know
they're not going to do it. By the way, I agree with you.
They're so
I'm just saying what needs to happen.
We was all calm and lovely. We was winning 1-0. We was all calm and lovely on Saturday. As soon as it equalised and they turned it to make it 2-1, the whole place was going loopy. We ain't got the patience for it. I really don't know how we're going to get about how fans are going to buy into a 3-4 year project where we progressively get better again by rebuilding and blah blah blah. And you have to tell them you have to wait 3 or 4 years to do that. I don't know how you get them on side. I really don't. You got to give them something. You got, and also we've got to start taking these domestic cup competitions a little bit more seriously. Maybe just maybe you might buy yourself some time in the league if you start prioritising. But we never do that because we put the managers under pressure to obtain top 4 because we want to go back in the Champions League. And you know what? You got to keep the fans happy.
Arnie Slot will be gone. He'll be gone by the end of the season if he's a new manager. He'll be gone by the end of the season. It won't work. Especially if Kane's gone. Especially if Kane's gone. I'm telling you now. And
that's why you got to get rid of him at the top still. The whole thing's got to change.
Listen, we know that. We protest every freaking game. We give up our drinking time in the pubs. We don't get to socialise like other fans. We're standing there protesting. Right? That is our match day experience.
As a fan base, honestly, guys, and I'm talking about as vast majority of a fan base are not ready for change. They're not. I'm telling you. I saw it on Saturday. I saw it on Saturday, first stand. I was having a look around at half time where I was so pissed off with this fucking acceptance attitude of that party atmosphere, like we've just won something. And I'm looking around and I'm thinking, what is this, man? This is not a football team that's ready. This is not a football club that's ready for change, man. And I can't get my head round how after not doing anything for so many years, we are literally, it felt like a wind down to the end of the season, and thinking we've got people all over the world that are fighting for something. If it's a relegation, they're fighting for trophies, they're fighting for top four, they're fighting for Premier Leagues, they're fighting for something domestically, and then you look at us and thinking we're a million miles away from that. But there we are, clapping our hands to Chaz and Dave and music like, and I'm like, come on, man, what is this shit? What is this shit? When's the winning mentality going to come at this club? What's it going to take? What is it going to take? This is what I said at the video that I did on.
It's not about a winning mentality. It's about entertaining mentality. We're an entertainment club.
It's the truth and entertainment centre. It's an entertainment centre. And there's nothing, you go there, it's like having a day out, guys, watch the match. Make sure you stay behind and watch a ladies' match. Make a day of it. Have brilliant fun. Spend the whole day at Tottenham. The sun's out. The drinks are out. The food is, but let's have it all out, man. Let's have a proper knees up. And at the end of it, go home and talk about the wonderful day you've had at the Tottenham Hotspur Event Centre. Fuck that. I'm not signing up for that.
Let me ask you a question, right? Theoretical,
the Tottenham experience.
Possible. The Tottenham experience.
That's there's a sign up there to the Tottenham experience.
You don't have a package deal. It's a package deal.
Tottenham experience.
Food, drink, and you can watch a bit of football as well.
Not even Tottenham Hotspur experience. Just Tottenham.
No. Question for you: if all goes well on Sunday, although I can't see it going well, I don't want to go to Leeds.
What's happening
I'd hate
Sunday?
to go there.
Are we playing again?
Of whenever it is, sorry, I might get
Sunday.
Yep.
No, I wasn't. I'm just saying, is there another football match?
Yeah, there is. Yeah, apparently, yeah. So
I think I'm out.
We win that match. We get into the Europa Conference League, right? Slot gets appointed, given a 5-year contract. He comes out in a press conference and says, "Right, I'm here now. I'm not going to make you proud like fucking Nuno." He says, "My goal next season, we're not going to win the league. We're nowhere near good enough to win the league. I'm going to build a young team that is going to go for that Conference League Cup, that Europa Conference League Cup." Would that make you feel any more positive, knowing that it's coming from his mouth and not the bullshit that's coming from behind the scenes from Levy? That's, to me, sounds like a plan. I know we don't hear it that often, but an actual physical, this is my goal.
We need to get in the Conference Cup first, Lee.
Well, that's why it says theoretical. If we win, I didn't say we're going to win, but would that make you any more positive for next season?
Lee, the manager would never, ever come out with a statement of the kind. And the reason being is Daniel Levy would not allow that kind of statement where any manager, Conte, Jose, none of them came out and said, this season we're going to make the domestic cups our aim. We're going to make the Europa, whatever the cup it is. They will never outright say it, because at some point in the season, if the journey of that domestic cup or Europe that you're taking starts to interfere or potentially risk you missing out on the top four, it becomes a problem to the club. Not to you as a fan or him as a manager, who will say, do you know what? Fuck it, man. Let's save our team to going for this cup. He would meddle and he will say, no, we need to prioritise the top four. We don't have the two squads like Man City have to go and play for everything. So someone would be lost. So even if he came out with that statement, if it interferes with him obtaining top four, or top four is within reach at the business end of the season, and you're fighting for a quarter, semi-final, or perhaps a possibility to go to the final, he will get involved. And then everything that he has said to you stands for the manager that said at the beginning of the season to us as fans, which we could buy into what you're saying. or if he made a statement like that, I would buy into that. But I know Mr. Levy at some point will interfere if it comes to, and then what he said at the beginning of the season, the manager to us would stand for absolute shit. It wouldn't. It wouldn't. So that's my issue. So for me,
I think we've broken him. Still, we've broken him.
I would sign.
He's gone tonight. He's gone.
No, because you don't understand. Saturday.
No, I do understand, because I said to you, Iggy, I don't go to games anymore. I refuse to go to that stadium because I hate the atmosphere. I can't stand what the fans are doing. I can't give the money anymore to them. And I said to them, I feel so bad when I'm there. I don't feel like a Spurs fan anymore. And what did you do? You took my ticket, you went, and now you feel how I've been feeling. This is it.
I will sign up for any project whatsoever. Any project. If it means that these guys go. The owners and the board need to leave.
I'm going to share my screen for 1 second, right? Because this just makes me laugh. Because
by the way, guys, we've got 420 people watching. Can every single one of you, please just touch the like button.
Yeah,
let's get to
be fair, Iggy, I hate to pick you out there, but I did that deliberately. I deliberately came up with that just to see your reaction, just to show people what this club and this board has done to our fans, that we just don't believe a fucking word they say anymore, and the fact that even things that come out will break us because we are that broken.
You don't trust
them.
They're
killing us mentally.
Don't trust them.
So this is once the trust goes, man.
This is our website, right? Iggy, this is our website, right? Let's go down for stadium events. Concerts and events is first. Then after that, Tottenham Hotspur home fixtures. That just tells you the order, right? Straight away, bang there.
That's an embarrassment.
That's done deliberately.
Of what we deal with.
But this is why I said to you, Tottenham.
So the most important thing is this.
It's an event centre, man. It's an event. It's like having the O2. I was standing out there on Saturday and I was looking around, and you got the TV, the digital TVs, and you got all of that stuff and everything. You know, it's interchangeable. And then you got the Tottenham experience, whatever that even
Chili
means.
Peppers,
Tottenham experience. It doesn't have anything in that stadium.
Do you know what my Arsenal friend said to me today?
With no Tottenham Hotspur, nothing.
Do you know what my Arsenal friend said to me today? Right, he tried to banter me. He messaged me saying, Harry Kane's gone, you're in the mud. And I said, yeah, whatever.
But did he say you bottled it?
Yeah, well, I said to him, you bottled it. We're having a back and forth. And I said to him, look, at the end of the day, 2nd, 9th, you win nothing, we win nothing, give a shit. That's the stick you bash us with, trophies, you got none. And he actually, do you know what? And in fairness to him, he made a really good point. He goes, yeah, but you're measuring everything by trophies. I'm like, yeah, because that's what everyone does to Spurs fans. He goes, but you're missing one thing with us. I said, go on then, let's hear this waffle. He goes, for years, we've been finishing below you. I'm like, all right, well done, you finished above us. He goes, no, it's not about that. For years, we've been finishing below you. And you've come close to winning a Champions League and a league title much more than we have. You've come closer. And for the first time in ages, we actually feel that we're a football club now. Like, we actually feel we're a football club. And you know what? When he said that, he made a good point. If you speak to Arsenal fans now, they're all gutted that they.
Can I read this?
Okay, let me finish what I'm saying, and then you can. Oh. What he was saying to me was like, yeah, they are gutted because they know they've bottled it, and it's been a tough week for them because they've been battered with that bottle job that they can't not accept that they have bottled it. Now they've accepted it. Now they know they bottled it and they're over all that. And watching Man City lift the league title, there's nothing they can say or do about that now. It's just that hurts because we've been there. We've been there in recent years. We've been there when we saw Leicester lift it, and when we saw Chelsea lift it, and we lift it. And we came second, but they do feel that they're a football club again, and they do feel that they are going the right way. And this is what's happened to us now. We don't feel we're a football club anymore. We don't feel we're even connected to football. In fact, I think our dark times are worse than theirs because they never had Beyoncé's and go-karting website promoting the concert before the fixtures, and conversations about stadium naming rights deals and random appointments like Scott Munn and rugby and NFL. They never had that to deal with. We do. So I think that's what it comes down to, right? We don't feel we're a football club anymore. Well, at least we don't. And people in the comments.
Our stadium's got its own Twitter account.
I know. Tottenham Stadium, I know it's got its own Twitter account.
The problem you got, right, is having all these other. I know it's
The
crazy.
stadium's got its own Twitter account.
To promote fucking concerts and that.
The problem you got that this
It's unbelievable.
this
It's unbelievable.
regime, right? I would have no problem with absolutely anything, any other activities happening in a stadium, a concert. I would have no problem whatsoever with it.
I've said that.
The problem you got is that there's nothing happening with our team. There's nothing happening there's no priority to our football. I mean, this is what I was telling you about, right? I'm going to read this. You go to the app, and it said the stadium, right? This is what it's got written on it, and you can go and check it out for yourself. We have created a sports and leisure destination for London with a multi-use stadium capable of staging major sporting and non-sporting events, including NFL, rugby and concerts, as well as Tottenham Hotspur matches.
Well, that's what Lee and Iggy are saying.
This is the problem, guys. I'd have no problem with the concerts and everything else that happens, because in off season, when Spurs are playing away, or in off season they're touring all over the world in pre-season and what have you, it's right that the stadium maximize it, man. Use it. Do what you want to. Airbnb it, man. No problem with any of that. But the problem you got, that how can such such an historic club, the name of Tottenham Hotspur, not be priority? How can that, the footballing side of things, not be a priority?
It shouldn't even be that, Iggy. The TottenhamHotspur.com website should be football only. Football, fixtures, team, end of story, job done. Shouldn't even have anything to do with that. And then they should have a completely separate thing for external or side events or whatever that is. That's the problem. Because they've muddled it together, and they're putting priority over the football events. They're putting priority over the rugby and NFL and that kind of stuff. It makes you think they don't give a shit. It should be something completely different. Fucking TottenhamHotspur.com.
It doesn't make me feel that, Lee.
That's the football side.
They don't give a
Stick
shit.
everything else on fucking Ticketmaster or whatever you want to fucking do. Yeah, put it up on the board after the match is finished on the outside of the stadium. That balls my piss whenever I see that. Whenever I see you guys out there and you look up and the fucking billboard thing on the side of the stadium is promoting something on a match day, that just baffles the shit out of me. It's match day, football related. After the match is finished, fair enough, stick something up on there, but not fucking while people are walking up to the stadium. Because they look at some people that have been there before going, am I at the right place?
Lee, that just reminds me. That reminds me. I made a video at the weekend, and I recorded that screen, right? Just to see when it went to something about Spurs and football. It was literally like 3 minutes. I totally forgot all about it because I was going to post it.
I think it was your video that I watched and noticed it was, to be quite honest.
It was like literally, I just had my phone on there going, right, Red Hot Chili Peppers, right, Beyonce, right, Skywalk, right, something else. It was literally about 3 minutes by the time it got to, there's a game today against Brentford.
They are 20 people that works for AIA from China. Like 20 Chinese people.
Yeah, no, chairman, director, financial officer, head of communications.
The winning team.
The staff.
AIA, the winning team. I'm like, these lot are just, where the fuck are these guys? Why are they in a stadium for?
They sponsor us, man. They sponsor us. It's money.
Come on, man.
Yeah, but why do we need to know everyone that works for them?
Why do we need to know? Like each individual one that works
It's nice for them, isn't it? It's nice for them, and that's what they give us money for.
I don't want to change the subject, but
what do the customers inside the stadium give you money for? What do they give you money for?
I just want to finish. It's true. I just want to finish
What do you give money for, Mr. JP? You got a season ticket holder. What you give money for? If they
I'll
give
go
you
for the-
money
I'll
to
go
sponsor
for
the
the
team, what are
beer.
you
I'll
giving
go
money
for the.
for?
I'll go for the beer and the chicken.
Yeah, you want a bit the beer that comes underneath the glow. Yeah, okay.
By the way, guys, we've got 450 people watching live. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please keep your comments coming thick and fast. We do try and get through as many comments as we can. Really appreciate it. Smash the like, helps the channel so we can keep making shows. What do you guys make of two players that have been criticized a lot recently? And do you think they're just playing badly, or do you think actually they're not that good? And the two players I want to specifically mention are young players. One is Kulusevski and the other one is Oliver Skipp. I've got my thoughts on it, but I want to hear what you guys say first. So, JP, let's go around this way. Skippy and Kulu, where are you at with these two?
It's difficult. But if hand on heart, I'm literally 50-50 because with Skipp, I think you kind of see a defensive mid there that could grow to be quite energetic, a bit of a ball winner, is all over the pitch, things like that. But also the flip side of me says he's not good enough. I really wouldn't mind him as a squad player and allow a manager to work with him and carry on with his development. But how old is he now? 22?
22, 23, yeah.
He shouldn't be the finished article, but he should be pretty much kind of like there, right? He still looks a bit party. He still looks a bit unsure of himself. He still makes some mistakes, but then every single person
He's 22 years old. He's 22.
Playing in a team right now that's not playing well, it's a bit mean to just like pick him out because he's literally the youngest person probably on that pitch, and I see him shouting at some of our players. So there's a lot I like about him, but hand on heart, he's probably not good enough. And in terms of Kulu, like again, he's young, right? And I think when he came in last year, he started off slow for the first couple of games, but then he kind of got into kind of like a bit of form, didn't he? And I think it was almost by having just that confidence, and it felt like he understood that Conte liked him and gave him confidence, and he was like literally on fire. Since being injured this year, he hasn't been himself. But again, is it the environment? Is it the fact that the whole team are playing pants at the moment? I don't think he's been up to it. But you could say the same about Richarlison. Sonny's had a not fantastic season. Højbjerg's been Højbjerg. No one else left in that midfield. He's literally playing every single game. And it's nice that Basuma's back now. So hopefully either one of those two out of Højbjerg and Skippy gets a bit of a rest, because literally they're the only two there, right?
Well, my mate Clive said Basuma was probably the standout player in the team throughout the whole 90 minutes on Saturday.
I think since coming on, like since his injury, even when he came on the other day, like when he came on as a sub, he seemed to turn the game a little bit, right? But I think he also offers something like a little bit different compared to, I think, and like we've said it numerous times, Skipp and Højbjerg are pretty much the same kind of style of player, aren't they?
That way.
Sideways.
He can take the ball and he's got the ability to take it around a player, whereas Højbjerg and Skipp,
he drops his shoulder,
get it, and then they're going that way or that way, and that's it.
But it's weird because sometimes you see with Skipp, and I think at the start of the season, or like when he was first getting a bit of time here and a bit of time there, he was playing the ball forward. He was always looking forward. There was 2 or 3 games, and I think like we were all raving about him, and he scored that volley and everything like that. At that point, it was almost as if he was on fire, and he was literally looking forward. Whereas now it's a bit more scaredy football. Let me not lose the ball. Because if you lose the ball, you see what happened to him at the weekend. He lost the ball. We lost it deep, just outside our penalty area. They went away and scored. So I think there's also this fear that they're playing with at the moment of not wanting to lose the ball, just wanting to keep it safe almost. And because they're not being themselves, I don't think they're helping themselves in a way. And in terms of keeping Kulu, I think I would, because I would say he's probably performed, even though he's performed poorly, he's probably performed better than Richarlison has, and that'd be half the price.
I
I
think
don't know
it's
what
out
you
of our
think.
hands.
Bad a choice though. Yeah. What do you think, Iggs?
What I think, Newcastle have automatically made Champions League football. That's the first thing.
Steve will be happy.
Kulusevski, and who's the other skip? Okay. Skip for a team that's 7th, 8th, 9th in the league is perfect. That's the level. And he is currently in the right team because that's the level. For what we aspire to become, or we would like to see, or where we would like to be, top 5, 6 teams. Let's be honest in here. We're not a top 4. But let's say in that bracket where we fluctuate between 4th and 6th, then Skip is not to that level. I don't believe he is. I appreciate that he's one of our own. I appreciate that he's an honest, hard-working player that gives it absolutely everything. There's no denying that. So I respect him. I respect him because he gives you everything. Is he to the where I would like to see Tottenham, where I would hope Tottenham to be? He is not to that level. Currently, he is. So that's where I'm a bit. In regards to Kulusevski, the thing is, it's hard to know who the real Kulusevski is because he came up. The thing, what most young players, especially, they need to be operating in a really oiled machine in the team. They need to know exactly what it is that they're required to do, and they need to be playing in a team that's functional already, that works, so they can come in and have their input. Kulusevski last year was working in a very functional team. It worked really well. Conte had got them going, and then adding Bentancur and Kulusevski to that, and it just made it even better, which allowed us to go in for a long, a run that allowed us to then enter the Champions League spot. So that's the Kulusevski I remember. The Kulusevski this year has had a lot of physical problems. The team itself has had problems. So it's very hard to judge his performances this season, which have not been good enough, by the way. But how do you compare that? Was he playing in a really good team that was flying, and he himself failed because he was not in any condition or any form that allowed him to elevate in that team that's flying? No, because the team was fucked. The situation, the environment that JP mentioned was messed up. He had his own personal, so it's very hard to judge him on this season. For me, he warrants another season, in my opinion. He warrants another season. Get a working Tottenham side, and then you can see how he fits in. Personally, he needs to be playing inside in the 10. I don't like in the wider areas. You need players with pace. In Premier League football, you need the Porro type player where he's attacking and he's forward thinking, crossing, pace. Players that drive at pace in the wide areas. He needs to play a little bit more inside, in my opinion. I think that you would get the best Kulu in that area because he's really good technical player. Not the quickest, but he's a really good technical player. And when he's good in the physical condition, he's very good. He flies. So I believe there is a player in it, and he's been he's been an international player for some years now. He played alongside Ibrahimovic and players like that. So these guys know a good footballer when they see one, and he's part of that setup. So I believe there is a player in it, but but the level that we're at right now, these are the players that we can attract. What are you expecting to go and get? You're expecting to go and get elite footballers that come to a 7th, 8th team in the league. You're not going to get those. They're okay for now, but if we aspire to go higher to the level that I want to see us at, then Skip would struggle to be in that setup. Certainly as a first teamer. Kulu would be involved. So I have to
It
say,
could be
still,
beneficial.
yes. If we got no Europe next season, then I would have him in a squad. I would,
It
because
could,
that's the
and
level
it could
right
be,
now.
it could be beneficial with like Slot there, yeah. Like right, as that type of
Yes.
manager and the
I
style he
also
plays, and he'll
also
also cajole them and put their arms around them and kind of like embrace the whole
the
atmosphere around the place.
the players that we need to get rid of, are other players. Certainly not Skip, and certainly not young players. They're the only young players that we got in the team, and we're going to get rid of those. When you got Dyers and you got the what's his name, Davis, and players like that have been there since God knows how long. We need to start getting rid of the old players and start with the young ones, and certainly Skip. And right now, Skip and
Deadwood,
and they would be involved in a setup, because we're an eighth in the league team. No Europe next year. Who the fuck are you gonna play if you don't play those two?
Yeah,
That's
I think
why.
you're right, Iggy. I mean, the only thing I'd add to that is probably from a Skip perspective is maybe with his age and the amount of weight that's been put on his shoulders trying to tie down that midfield with Højbjerg. Maybe it's just too much for him. He's not got enough experience to be holding that down right now.
Højbjerg can go.
I think
I'll play him with Basuma, just to give you an idea. I'll get Basuma involved next year. He's got to get involved, because Basuma,
absolutely,
is physical problems. And next year, I think if he's fully fit and ready to go, I'd prioritise that second place with alongside Skip, perhaps, to Basuma, because he's far more technical than him. He manipulates the ball. I think Basuma was probably one of the other players that I thought did all right on Saturday. Manipulates the ball any way he wants, left foot, right foot. His passing range is very good. His vision, his awareness is very good. He just needs to be another player that needs to be put in the right setup to elevate his game. We see what he can do.
The player that bossed us around, when was it, last season or the season before, which is the reason why I bought him in the first place.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of player that we want to see back, right?
But in the right setup, he can.
In the right setup, he can be absolutely fantastic.
He can do it. We've seen it. That's the thing. We've seen Kulu do it. We've seen Basuma do it. Skip is an honest player, hard-working player, gives you absolutely all. You got to take that player for what he is. If he's then not good enough or not to the level that you require, then you move him on. But right now, what level do we require when we're 8th in the league? You can't then start saying that we need to get players that, Champions League football players when you're sitting fucking 8th in the league. You can't. What kind of demands can you make from that? You can't. It defies any logic to expect any better. Expect better from the guys at the top that should be demanding a lot more. Bring in a manager like Slot to say, do you know what? You are the man in the next 4 or 5 years. We're going to back you, and we're going to start with this. And I promise you, year by year, we will go through the changes with you, give you what you want to bring Tottenham back to the level required, and bring us a winning mentality that takes no shit. We will prioritise the domestic football because we cannot win the league. Champions League football would be great, but not fundamental. Let's prioritise what we can do better on, because we are better than going out to Nottingham Forest. We are better than going out to Sheffield United. We're much better than that. But we need to give him the freedom to allow him to work and not put the thing where he must obtain Champions League football. Otherwise, you're gone. Give him the 2, 3, 4 years to do that. And then you can start getting regular Champions League football, because the level of your squad will improve year by year. Then you can start demanding more from it. But you can't say, let's have Lee coming in that now. Lee, you got to get a Champions League football. What, with that pile of shit you're giving me? You finished 8th this year. Now you want me to turn out the team. It defies logically. It wouldn't yeah, but
I think Iggy's got to explode.
It's blown.
You know that saying? You know that saying? He's broken the internet. He's literally broken the internet.
He is literally. He has. Yeah, he's literally broken it. All right. So another. It's all doing Iggy. Anyway, Stel, question for you. I know we were talking about the defense earlier, and it's absolutely shocking. It's shit. We've seen that now. It doesn't matter what positions you put him in. I've got a first question for all of you. Actually, what the hell happened with Romero on Saturday? He wasn't even in the squad, was he? Is he
Apparently
injured?
it was an injury.
Okay,
Injured.
all right, I didn't see any reports on that. So
Apparently,
I know
We don't even believe that
So-
anymore. We don't even believe
no.
if a player's injured.
injured.
I know, yeah.
We don't even
So-
believe if a player's injured.
Do you think?
He's gone off on his ollybobs already.
Yeah, no, yeah, he's on the beach. So I'm just looking at Slot's formation and the way that it works theoretically if he does come in. So I know we say we need a complete rebuild, etc., and this, that, and we've got to get rid of a load of players. But starting at the back, do you think? Oh, we know obviously Dyer and Longley and Sanchez, they've all got to go. They've all got to be got rid of. We need at least another centre back and probably a backup to that as well. Maybe a young, guy or something of that nature. But what about on the left? Do you think Udogie and someone like Reguilon would be enough for that? And do you think on the other side, Porro and Burger Royale is
Spence
enough,
as well,
or
don't
do we
forget.
need, and Spence as well, yeah,
Do
or
you know,
do we
I'll
need to get
answer-
rid of one of them?
Yeah, right. I'll answer your question. I'm also going to answer this. Right. My answer to Skip and Kulu is my answer to what you've just asked. So take my Spurs hat off, put my coach's hat on. I would keep both Kulusevski and Oliver Skip. Now, a lot of people disagree with Oliver Skip staying at Spurs, and I get it. And when you see the mistake he made yesterday when he didn't release the ball, tried to dribble himself out of trouble and cost us the third goal, I get why people don't want Skip. They don't think he's good enough. They think he's average. And they think, yeah, look, he's a championship player at best. That's why he did well at Norwich. But I disagree. I disagree with all those opinions. Kulusevski, for me, showed enough last season that there's a player there. And when the team was in full flow, he was a massive part of it. The team this year's been disjointed. The World Cup in the middle of the season, injuries. We haven't had a settled back four. We haven't had a settled midfield. Damn it. The only player that's been settled this season has been Kane. Take Kane out of the squad. Who else has been consistent in performance and in starting position? It's just been an awful season. So I think a lot of players in this team have been not victims, but they've lost any momentum or any consistency because of the disjointed nature of the season. So I put Kulu in that bracket. Kulu needs next season and calmness. With Oliver Skip, with any young player, the three things you need: the right environment, patience, and you have got to be allowed to make mistakes. Now, if you can't do that, you will never know whether or not a player can excel. If you look at Tottenham this season, it's been a toxic environment. Patience has gone. And when a player makes a mistake, we hound on it so much that the player goes home and comes off social media. So the environment is dreadful for young players to flourish. However, what is good is he will learn from this. I want to take people back to when Arsenal were an absolute shit show under Arteta. Saka and Smith Rowe played in that team. Look at them now, especially Saka. He's going through the motions of the dark side. What he needs is the nice side now, the good side. And this isn't just for Skip, it's for any young player at the club. So for me, I can see a player in Skip. I can see it. And don't forget, Mourinho, he said, this is a future captain. This is a captain of the club. Mourinho gets these things right because he can see it. He's got 40-odd, 30-odd years of experience. He was right about Kim Min-jae, and he was right about Skriniar, and he was right about Ruben Diaz. Look at all of those players. Ruben Diaz is, 22, 23? Leader at Man City. So for me, I trust what Mourinho says on him. I trust what my eyes see. But the mistake he made against Brentford was criminal. But freaking hell, man. Harry Kane missed a penalty in the World Cup. Should we kill him for that? They're human. They're going to make mistakes. Yet Kane's come back from the World Cup. He's the second top goal scorer in one of the shittest teams in the league. That's what the man does. I'm not saying Skip will be the next De Bruyne, the next Xavi Alonso, the next Xavi. Iniesta, the next. Trying to think of top midfielders that have ever played in the Premier League, but Moussa Dembele. I'm not saying he'll be that, but we won't know what he will be unless he gets a real chance. Can't keep changing manager, right? No manager has been at Tottenham long enough to really get to know these players other than Redknapp and Poch. And guess what? They did the best because they had enough time to really get to know these players. Now, you might say to me, oh, but look at De Zerbi. Look at what De Zerbi is doing at Brighton. He hasn't had long. Yeah. But top 6 is the limit that Brighton are going to achieve. For them to go beyond that, they're going to have to invest big. Otherwise, you just can't compete with what's ahead of you. And Eddie Howe, he's had short time at Newcastle. But look what he's done. But if you look at Brighton and you look at Newcastle, the expectation hasn't been the same as Spurs. And when you look at those clubs, it's a different pressure that they've had. And the environment is much more healthier. I want to see Skip, even Spence, who isn't one of our own, is a club signing. Doji, who we haven't seen playing a Spurs shirt. The likes of Dane Scarlett. I want to see any young player at Spurs in the right environment, under one manager for more than one season, and with patience. Now, if we do that, then you can judge Oliver Skip. The hate on the Skip for me is beyond a joke. And I think it's just a lack of knowledge of what a young player needs to develop. And that's how I see it. That's how I see it. Winks, when he first came into the scene, was a good player. We moved him out of position. We tried to turn him into a holding mid. He wasn't. It was a disaster. We ruined him. Don't do the same with Skip. This is a good player. I don't know what he'll become. He might end up being another Winks. He might become something really exciting. But it's too early to go in on a guy that all the variables you need to develop a young player aren't in place at Tottenham. And this is why I said a couple of weeks ago, I don't want any young player playing in this squad right now because it will destroy them. And we saw it with Pape Sarr at Newcastle. He got all the fucking blame and came off after 20 minutes. What's he done wrong? So that's my answer on Skip and Kulu. As for the left side, I never wanted Reggie to leave the club, Lee. I never wanted Reggie out of the club.
Nor do I. Nor did I.
He's better than anything we've got on the left, in my opinion. So I would have liked to have kept Reggie, just put him on a diet to toughen him up a bit. And as for Doji, look, same with Spence. I don't know. I just don't know what we're getting because we haven't seen them. And at the end of the day, the club chose to send him back on loan as part of the deal. And with Spence, the manager never wanted him. So he made a point of saying, you don't buy players and demand I play them. I'm Conte. He's not going to play. Deal with the problem. And the club had to send him out on loan. So I just want to see young players at Spurs get a chance, but you need the right environment. The fans have got to be patient. And we have got to keep one manager, whether it's Conte, whether it's Jose, whether it's Arne Slot, whether it's Nagelsmann. Keep the manager for 3 years and then judge the young players. And that's how I look at it. Most people want to skip out. I get it. I just think you're all wrong. Come back to me in 2 years' time on this, and then we'll see who's right and wrong. But we need one manager, not 3. We've had 3 managers this year. 3. How the fuck can you develop a player? How can you develop?
Isn't this the 5th year still that we've gone into a season with a new manager or something?
We haven't had a manager manage for a full season from the start to the end since 2018.
See,
they've all come in halfway.
That just shows you that
we've been sacked halfway through the next season.
And we wonder why everything's so disjointed.
Why is Dane Scarlett not in the squad? Why isn't Alfie Devine getting a chance? Why isn't Skip playing as well as we thought? What's happened to Spence? Well, I've just explained to you what's happened. That's how youth football works. The right environment, get to know the player, and patience, and let them make mistakes. That's the patient bit. That's where you've got to be patient. If you can't do that, shut down the academy, man. Just shut the whole fucking thing down. You don't need it. That's how I look at it. Got a super chat here from Ryan Busy. Big up, Ryan. If you had ambitious owners, would you guys rather finish 4th with a Carabao Cup or 7th with an FA Cup? Who wants to answer that first?
Well, both of them. What happens if we, Ryan? What happens if we make 4th? What happens? Do we
Champions League
improve our squad? Yeah, but to do what? To participate? Watch the others
but
win?
I think he's saying if we had ambitious owners, i.e., not the same
ambitious owners
where
in
we
4th
would
with
blow
Carabao.
it. If we had ambitious owners, I would want all of those.
So greedy. So greedy,
Ambitious owners,
JP.
I would go with fourth in the Carabao Cup because we would have won some silverware and we go and play the best in the best competition in European football. Ambitious owners meaning that they will invest accordingly for you to play in such a
sorry.
high elite level. If not, then you might as well go in Europa or Conference and win the FA Cup, and that's be it. We have to have the squad and the ambition and the managers and the clarity of vision to play in the competition that belongs to the squad that's about to participate in it. It's like living within your means. If you earn X amount of money, you don't go and spend double the amount at the end of the month because it just doesn't make sense. You end up in debt and more debt and more debt. Live within your means. So if you have a squad that can only compete in seventh, look, the squad now that's going to finish eighth, seventh at best in Champions League. What do you want to go there for? To get slapped at every game in the group
Forget
matches?
that. We're not even not good. What was?
You
what
see
did
what I
say
mean?
then?
This is what I'm trying to say.
Did you say fourth
Ambitious owners
in Carabao
play in the
Cup?
best competition.
Iggy, did you say fourth in Carabao Cup?
If the ambitious owners are correspond to what I would consider ambitious owners,
That's what he's
then I
saying.
would
He's
say
saying
yeah.
ambitious
Yeah,
owners.
yeah.
He's saying,
Yeah,
what about
I
you,
would
Lee?
say fourth. You
What
have to
about you,
play in the
Lee?
elite
Well,
competition.
I mean, if they are ambitious and they want to spend the money, then surely you want to. I'd say fourth and Carabao Cup on the basis that if they are ambitious, then they're investing in the team to actually do something in the Champions League.
Do you know what? I'm going to say FA Cup.
FA Cup. I knew it.
Hey, we haven't won that thing in
It's
30
love.
odd years, man. And it's just
It's that love
We
for
haven't
it,
won
isn't it?
anything in years.
there's no one can banter us if we win the FA Cup. There's no banter with the FA Cup. With the Carabao Cup, there's still that whole well done, the Mickey Mouse Cup. Whereas the FA
Rumbelows
Cup, it's like Rombelows, Milk Cup, whatever it's called. The FA Cup.
It's
Listen,
so shit that Man City go for it every year.
Listen,
Funny.
if they're ambitious, wait, if you win the FA Cup, do you qualify for Europa?
Yeah, you qualify for one of them, don't you?
It's Europa, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think so.
Right, I'd win the FA Cup, then go and win the Europa Cup the following season with our ambitious owners. That's what I'll do.
I was thinking about that. Just whether
It's the FA Cup,
actually,
man.
do you know what? FA Cup and then go for the because you got more chance of winning the Europa Cup than you got of the Champions League, even if you are ambitious. So maybe you're right.
I agree.
And
I'm
I
not
changed
saying
my
about
stance.
winning the Champions League is a tough competition, and ultimately,
I'd rather
at
be
the
in the
end of it,
Champions League than Europa.
At
I'd rather be in
the
the
end of
Champions
it,
League.
there's the usual teams will ultimately be there, but it gives you the best with ambitious owners. By entering the Champions League, will give you the most return money wise for you to then go and invest in better players, which hopefully makes you more competitive with every year that passes by, whilst winning the
That's
odd
our
cup
cup.
like the Carabao Cup.
Used to be. It's fucking Arsenal's now.
That's
another
how I
thing
see
we've
it.
lost.
That's
That's
how
what I mean. We've always had that love with the FA Cup, haven't we?
We were the kings of the cup. That was the Kings of the Cup.
Yeah, that
Kings
was
of the Cup.
when I was growing up as a kid. That was it. It was the FA Cup. That was Tottenham's cup.
And where did we used to finish in the league?
We've gone from kings. We've gone from kings of the cup to Prince Andrew.
Because
abused.
finishing eighth, ninth, or 10th, and bringing home the FA Cup was considered. If you come home with a cup, it's a good season, man. If you win a cup, it's a good season. People could swallow that season that you finish 8th, 9th, and 10th. If you've won an FA Cup, you've won a cup. People can swallow where you finish in the league for one season. But when you don't win an FA Cup and your return is what we currently have, what's the point? What's the point going to the Champions League?
Back then, though, Iggy, there was only one spot available for that European Cup, and that was the winners, right? Since that's become 3 and 4 now,
That's going to go up now. That's going to go up.
That's almost taken clubs' views away, really, hasn't it? Suddenly now they're more interested in qualifying for top 4 because that's where the revenue is.
Yeah.
Big up, Murray. Welcome to the show. You right?
So, quick question for you, gents. Then, is the league positions where as it stands now? Is that taking into consideration the positions that the people that have won those cups could be in? Or Man United have just lost out on Champions League, haven't they?
No, they're going to get it.
No,
Oh,
no,
they are
can
going to get
still-
it. Okay,
Newcastle
so
have
if they
just
won
got
the
it.
Carabao Cup,
Liverpool
I
dropped
think they
points
got-
in the weekend.
so if United won the Carabao Cup, right? So that means the Europa Conference League position, if they go into the Champions League, is up for grabs.
Well, actually, if Man
And
United
also,
win, go on.
if City win the FA Cup, and obviously then that Europa League spot comes open because they'll be in the Champions League. But does that
And
take
if-
into consideration
if-
6th and 7th
and Lee-
now, or
and
could
Lee,
the 8th
if-
place person?
If
get it
West
as
Ham
well?
win the conference, does that also free up another spot?
Well,
so we can
It's all a
finish
bit
10th and
confusing, isn't it?
we
Could
can
you
finish 10th
imagine
and
West
still
Ham
qualify
winning?
for
Do you know
Europe.
what? I saw something funny today, actually, JP. You just reminded me. I saw something funny. I think, did I upload it? I deleted it. I can't remember anyway. Does it? No, here it is. Yeah. So, congratulations to West Ham for making the Europa Cup conference final.
I saw that,
Congratulations
I
to
saw
Man
that.
City for winning the Champions League final. Congratulations to Newcastle for finishing top 4. Well done, Spurs, for managing to put an extra night for Beyonce.
One week
The
away.
girls in town, baby. The girls in town.
Yeah.
Guys, can I,
Yeah.
Murray, let me ask you this question, right? Because we've kind of discussed the game, we've discussed players. There was a moment during the game where the cameras just zoomed in, and it was this: Daniel Levy's wife just tapping him on the wrist
It's
to suggest,
all right, love.
it's okay, Daniel. Don't worry, because the chants, the boos, the balloons on the pitch. There was some banter going around straight after. Don't worry, babe. Just charge the pricks extra next season, as the memes occur. And there's also this one as well: Donna Cullen and Levy. We're 3-1 down to Brentford, Daniel. What the fuck are we gonna do? Deploy the Nagelsmann rumors again. That should buy some time. That's because the Nagelsmann rumors broke straight after the game. We lost 3-1. So we're even taking the piss out of our own PR machine now. Like, the game's up. But jokes aside, because we don't want it to be all depressing all night long, but Spurs are a depressing club. Mari, when you saw this, did you have even an ounce of sympathy for this man, for what is going on and what is being said about his name in the stadium, the balloons on the pitch? Because some people were saying, do you know what? I feel a bit sorry for him. I know what my answer is, but how do you feel?
Sorry,
You know what my answer is?
Yeah. When I saw it, I basically had no emotion to it other than laugh. I went straight to Twitter and said that she was probably reminding him that, hey, don't worry, the Beyonce concert's coming up, a couple of events, Wiz Kids coming up, and we'll make up that money. And I also said that there's a boat trip with Uncle Joe that usually happens in the summer that's coming up, so don't worry. So I come to a point where I don't find sympathy for him, because I think he's a narcissist. I think he is to blame, and I'm not going to feel sorry for someone who has broken the spirit of the club. There's something going on Twitter. The Orlando Spurs supporters club, right? Their president posted something on Twitter, a picture of when they were full at the bar, right? We used to have so much people come out to watch Spurs games, and we had none for this past Saturday's game. And basically,
I saw that. The bar was completely empty. I saw the images. Yeah. Someone put it in a WhatsApp group I'm in. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and so they've broken the club, but the only thing that came out of it, which, like I said, I won't name names, but there were a couple of people said, well, they're not true Spurs fans. And this is where I get so frustrated. I said, look, the sacrifices that some people go, right, to go to a supporters club, outside of the UK, right? Maybe for them not going to the bar is their protest, Maybe for them, all right, I'd rather sit at home rather than wake up 5:30, 6:30 in the morning because of this shit and this dross that Levy has done. And so I had to defend that. But sympathy for Daniel Levy, man, it's not there. And I will say this, add on to this. I don't know if you saw the reports of Tottenham possibly doing Moneyball with data analytics.
Yeah, they want to copy the Brighton and Brentford model. It's the latest piece of whether it's gossip, true. I don't know.
People need to understand, right? This whole Moneyball data analytics, but this is a system that takes a couple seasons to implement correctly, and the people that do it, you have to let them do their job. So it seems nice. This is like all PR with this narcissist, right? Let's just say he wants to do this whole Moneyball data analytics, right? That Brighton's doing and other sports they've done, right? With those other clubs, they let the experts do their job in regards to that. This is not something to say, okay, we're going to start doing data analytics. This takes 1, 2 seasons to implement this type of system. It's not as easy as you could implement that system. And so that's why I'm like, this club is confused. We're confused with our DNA. We're confused with our philosophy. And the simple solution is for Daniel Levy to recede from his position and allow the experts, allow the football people to come in. Even the football people who want to do the data analysis, let them be in charge of doing this. And so that's the frustration I come in. He has to have his hand involved in everything in regards to football in this club.
I saw Lee Gunner comment. He was on some stream. I can't remember.
Oh, he's gone in on Arteta
kind of where
and
it
Arsenal.
was.
He's gone.
Yeah.
ballistic.
No, but he was saying that Arsenal did that a little while ago, and they ended up purchasing a data analytics company to look at stats, and they ended up with Mustafi and a couple of other players who were like absolutely pants.
So Ndombele's coming back. Joe Rodon's going to start next season. Happy days.
So yes, as Mary was saying, like it's
but
literally
JP,
the
but
level
Liverpool
of,
did it. But Liverpool did it
literally
with Klopp, and look how well it works for them.
It's literally the level of people that you apply and allow them to take time and give you the right data, right? And it also depends on the manager and the style that we want to be suited with or like fits. Otherwise, there's no point having Conte and doing that, and then suddenly you kind of like spend 6 months, a year and a half analyzing all that data, and then you get rid of him and then bring in Arne Slot.
Yeah.
And then get rid of him and get I don't know, Sam Allardyce.
What's funny is when Liverpool went down that road under Klopp, to the top people they brought in as a scout and data and analysis were two of the boys from Spurs. They actually took Spurs boys for it. So we actually had some good people. We always have good people. We lose a lot of our good people because they just get fed up, I think.
But that's also like that. Who was that director of football that we had when Poch was here? That we got from Southampton as well. Paul Mitchell. Yeah. So he used to always have this. Was it a kind of like a black box or something that he was associated with?
They all do, JP.
Recordings of every hell of a lot of games and things like that he would watch players from all over the world.
Listen, I don't believe that comment that Spurs are going to go down that road, and because Brentford and Brighton have done it. Is that what the competition is for you? Then
that's the level? That's the levels.
Yeah, that's why I don't believe it. I mean, I just think it's all hype. I do want to move on to at the end of the game. This was put up. End of season awards, which was hilarious, and it got a lot of banter. But Harry Kane, he won Player of the Season. This is awarded to him by a Spurs fan, and Heung-min Son, another Spurs fan, awarding him Goal of the Season. Was this the right decision? Was Kane the player of the season, in your opinion, guys? Was that a good call?
Who else are you going to pick?
I think for
For
the
his
amount
29
of
goals
that
alone,
he
I think that's
scored
about
and-
enough of a right decision, right?
I would
And he's
say
got
Certainly won't
and he's
fucking
got a
die.
trophy, and he's got a trophy now, so he can stay.
I would say
Ambitious.
Bentancur as a close second to Kane. The only reason is when Bentancur got injured, I knew our season
That's the season fucked.
is fucked. I said
But
Bentancur
Mari,
was
that's how shows you how fucked our team is when a player that's only played half a season is your candidate for second behind Kane as player of the season. Only plays half a season, and I agree with you. I completely agree with you.
I had him.
That's how bad it is.
I had him in November as my player of the year. Of course, I got given to Kane because Kane played the whole season. But Bentancur in November was my player of the year. And then when he went down, I'm telling you now, honestly, if Bentancur injury does not happen, I still think Conte is still coaching us. Now, resigning a contract, probably not. But I would think our positioning on the table would be better. Once Bentancur got out with his injury, I knew we were fucked big time.
That was pretty much the award ceremony. There was a lot of stories circulating. Alistair Gold put a story out talking about how the music was put up super loud to stop the booing.
Blared it straight away as soon as that third beep on the whistle went.
That, along with the result, people left the stadium, which ended up backfiring on the club because, one, people didn't stay behind for the lap of honour, whatever they call it.
Yeah, but the women's game was probably more
and the women's football match afterwards got affected. Yeah, so it's all ended on a sour note. Let's have it right. But the next day we got a bit of a lift. We got a bit of a pick me up. Not that there's much to pick me up because in the evening Arsenal played after us, and they bottled it again. And Pep laughing at Arteta, and then this notice was released. Experienced welder required, urgently need to reattach top to a bus. Short-term contract. Call Mikel Arteta. No open top bus parade at the Arsenal. And you know what, guys? Congratulations, they've done it. 3 in a row, Manchester City. They are champions of England. Love them, hate them. You cannot say the way they spend money, they do it the right way. So many clubs have spent so much money. Look at the money spent under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at Man United, wasted 600 million at Chelsea. Look at them. Man City have got a plan. They've got a strategy. They've got the right academy. They employ the right people. They've got the right manager. They're doing things the right way with the money that they've got. You look at Spurs. Spurs have spent 500 million pounds in the last 4 years, but because there's no plan, we've wasted that money. It's been a disaster. So you've got to give Man City some credit. They spend money the right way. They do. I hate saying it, but it's true.
On a serious note, still, obviously there are also some allegations about 115 or whatever it is charges against them, right?
Guilty, innocent until proven guilty, right?
No, I know, but if it happens to be that they've breached all of these, does that tarnish what they've achieved?
Means we win the Carabao Cup under Ryan Mason, right? Come on.
Is it true what I've read that that this year
it does tarnish?
You've only spent £14 million.
Net.
What, sorry?
Net.
Yeah, net. The outlay of this year's winning the league was £14 million.
Net.
That's good business. That's how you run a business.
Lee, let me tell you what's good business. And I think Mari touched
Arsenal.
upon this.
Arsenal gave them loads of money.
Yeah, Arsenal bought yeah, Jesus and
Chelsea gave them loads of money.
Listen, but that's what Liverpool did. Sell players at the right time, cash in and spend it elsewhere on a Grealish, on a that defender they've got, a Kanji. Peanuts, 15 million, great business.
He looks quality.
But I have to go back on something Mari said months ago. If Spurs were really amazing at business, I think they're good, but they're not amazing. If they're amazing, they'd focus on winning trophies because of the prize money you get and the new fan base, the fan base that grows because you're a successful team. And just to prove Mario was right on that, if Man City do the treble, FA Cup, League, and Champions League, that is a combined £300 million. So just think, the team top of the table who are running right on English football, turning it into a farmers league, if they do the treble, they've got £300 million to spend next season without any money from within the club. So success leads to more success. And this is how Man United dominated for so long. No one could compete with Man United financially because they kept winning.
Yeah.
Built the stadium, more fans, global fan base, more merch sold, prize money. So
just to add on what you just said, because it's ironic, I just came back an hour ago from Mexico City. I was in Mexico City over the weekend. And I've said this in the past. What Spurs did amazingly, through the Gareth Bale years and Harry Kane years, they hit the market share that United dominated. And the other clubs, Chelsea and whatsoever. I just came from Mexico City. Yesterday, I leave the Airbnb that I'm in with my girlfriend, and we see a couple of kids, one with a Real Madrid jersey, the other one had a Barcelona jersey, and then the other one had a City one. And the other kid was I'll take Real Madrid jersey because I'm not a big fan of Real Madrid. And the kid was saying, yeah, Man City's the team in Spanish. This is Mexico City. So we go to the mall, and actually I will post a picture on Wednesday. They actually had one of the real authentic Champions League trophy at the mall because they had a promotion that was going on, some big promotion. So I actually took some pictures with the fake Champions League trophy and actually took a picture of the real one. They had one in a case. And in that line, you know how many Manchester City jerseys I saw in that line that people waited to take a picture with the Champions League trophy? Plenty. And I'm like, wow. Manchester City's market share, their fan base has
They're
grown.
growing their fan base. They're growing their fan base.
Growing their fan base.
Chelsea did the same, Murray. When Chelsea was
Kind of what
successful
success
for 2 years.
does, isn't it?
You can't believe it. I mean, of course, you're always going to see Real Madrid. You're going to see Barcelona. You're going to see the Mexican teams. But the only Premier League team I saw, maybe the whole weekend, I saw a United jersey. Manchester City. Kids wearing Manchester City jerseys. And I'm just like, I mean, City's fan base, we make fun of them. But their international fan base, it is growing. And Spurs,
Yeah. 100%. 100%. That's what winning does to you. Your fan base grows.
That's why I don't get, Mari. You go, freaking, you were there in the Champions League final. Kick on from there. Do you know what the money you'll get from that, the revenue you'll get from
But
that?
we do it differently, JP. We will sign a Heung-min Son or keep a Heung-min Son and grow that way. Like Spurs are doing it.
The cheap way.
We're doing it the unglorious, successful way, on the pitch. All these clubs do it by on-field success. We do it by what can we do off-field by getting a player on-field that gives us off-field success. We're a business machine, but I do believe that the more successful you are, the more growth your club will get. There's no doubt, because anyone new to football in their teenage years, they're going to look at English football and say, do you know what? Who's the happening team? Who's got the best players? Would you rather watch Kevin De Bruyne and Haaland or Richarlison and Højbjerg? It's a no-brainer, right? No disrespect to our players, although they are crap. That's how it is. In fact, let's look at the league table, actually. Let's have a look at the league table. Leicester and Newcastle drew tonight, so Newcastle are actually on 70 points and they've officially qualified for Champions League. Leicester City, okay, we won't look at the bottom half, but when you look at it, it's going to come down to Liverpool, Man United for that final place. I mean, Man United already have 3 points on them plus 2 games. I mean, Man United would have to lose both their games and Liverpool just have to win their last one. I think Man United have done it. Liverpool, Brighton, Europa Cup. Villa could pip Brighton, but Brighton have got a far more superior goal difference and they're 3 points ahead. Look, Brighton have got Europa Cup. It's done for me. It's all going to come down to 7th place. Now it's between Brentford, Tottenham and Villa. Tottenham go away to Leeds United. I think Villa have got a really hard game. But we are in
Brighton, isn't they?
They got Brighton
They're
playing
playing
last game of the season, I think, isn't it?
So who are Brentford playing?
Aren't they playing Man City?
City.
Man City are on the beach.
Yeah, they won't care. City won't care.
Brentford are at home. So look,
Memphis,
it's anyone's.
Leeds,
Man City probably got the FA Cup coming, aren't they? So
Man City are going to rest the players. They don't care.
Leeds need to survive. They're going to, at home, they're going to go all out. This is a good chance we will finish 9th.
Well,
I hope so.
If
seriously hope so.
If we're to get 7th, we must beat Leeds. A draw isn't good enough. Villa pip us to it. If Brentford win, Villa drop points, Spurs drop points, Brentford sneak in, which would be an unbelievable story if Brentford Football Club get European football. I mean, that's just insane.
Yeah.
But do you think we will get 7th, guys? Do you think we will go out there and give it everything we've got to try and get 7th? Or do you think our players are like, do you know what? Whatever.
Well, half of them are probably in the mode of, or they probably sense, do you know what? We've been found out now. I think kind of like the summer could be me turfed away to a championship team or something like that, which literally means that they probably don't give a shit and don't care. But to be honest, sorry, Mari, the intensity that Leeds will come at us, because we know that they can play that hard, that quick press and a fast-paced football. Knowing how we play against that, ain't happening.
I just want to answer BNHD's question on 543. If City wins the Champions League, 5th place becomes Champions League next season. It starts next season.
It's Champions League is 5th place next season anyway.
Yeah. So it would be 6 with the highest coefficient. So there's a possibility. I'm pretty sure there's a possibility like the Premier League could possibly get 6 teams in if City wins it the next season, because they will have the playoff slot team and it will go by the highest coefficient. And someone joked around and said if it was Arsenal that finished above, I think if Arsenal finished 6th next year and we finished 7th, we would go ahead of them because we have a higher coefficient in Europe than Arsenal. So it's weird, but next year is going to be interesting how people qualify for Champions League, Europa League, and Conference League. So I just wanted to answer that question. It doesn't go into effect this year, but it goes into effect next year.
Someone's just put in the comments that if West Ham if West Ham win the Conference League, then 7th place doesn't get the spot. So
Oh, wow.
do you know what? None of us know. Let's just wait and see what happens, and then someone on TV will tell us, and then we'll just retweet it, WhatsApp it, talk about it on YouTube and all that. The last thing I want to quickly address before we begin to wrap up the show is he going, guys?
No.
Is Harry Kane going? Because
I'm saying he's not going.
Because if you're Harry Kane, the rebuild is underway. Right? The rebuild's underway. I'm serious. He's going to sign a new contract. But if you're Harry Kane, are you staying, guys? Because there's 3 scenarios. He signs a new contract and commits long-term to the new project. He stays, goes on a free, but then Levy will hemorrhage all the potential revenue from selling him. That's 2, sorry. Or 3, he gets sold and the club cashes in maximum value we can get for him now, whilst he's still hot property and injury-free after coming off of another good season. Which of the three is it? There's only three outcomes, unless there's a fourth one I've not.
Well, here's the fourth one. I got good news for you. There's a strong possibility the options are running out because I don't know if you guys know this. If Chelsea is seriously, and Fabrizio report is seriously interested in Vlahovic, who is a younger striker who I think is on the wrong team at Juventus. If they get Vlahovic and United is still, their number one choice is actually Osimhen, which is a tough deal to complete. The options for Harry Kane in England decreases. I know some people put Newcastle, but he's not leaving Spurs to go to Newcastle. As good as they are, he's not leaving to go to Newcastle.
Which of the three options are you going with, Maury?
I think it's a fourth. I think he's got. Well, the first one he's gonna stay because the options are running out. Unless he wants to go to Germany,
stay and sign a new contract, or stay and run down his contract.
Stay, sign a new contract because I think the options are running. I think the options are running out. If Chelsea gets Vlahovic, and Juventus just got docked 10 points now. There's
what? They got docked 10 points, didn't they? Just get 15 points back.
They lost the case, so Juventus is out of the Champions League.
They lost the points. They got the points back, and now they're taking them off again.
Yeah, with 2 games left.
Italy's crazy, man.
They got docked 10 points. And so Vlahovic, if Vlahovic goes to Chelsea, there's only one team left. That's United wants younger. They actually want Osimhen. They want Kane, but they're gonna try hard to test Napoli's resolve.
He's proven Premier League, even in a rubbish team. He delivers. Harry Kane delivers.
There's a domino effect, Stelios, because what's going on in Napoli. Napoli's coach Spalletti might leave. There's a strong chance he might leave. If that happens, now the players are unsettled. So it's all a domino effect. It's a domino effect that's going on right now that might actually help us with Kane.
Right. So you think Harry Kane stays and signs a new long-term contract with Spurs?
It depends. If Vlahovic signs with Chelsea, I'm going with option number one. If that doesn't happen and he still has two options, then I think he runs down his contract and leaves.
So he stays and then all right, okay. Lee, what's Kane doing?
Listen, I'm telling you now, if you don't know, get to know. I'm spitting the truth. The truth is this. Kane is staying. He's going on a free next season. Simple as that.
Back to you, JP.
Hell yeah. The professor of truth and entertainment spoken. I think he's sold this year. I think Levy won't give him the opportunity to go on a free. Like he's literally been the gem, the stone, the diamond. For Levy to just go, even if someone puts a cheeky bid in for 60, 70 million or something like that, it's 70 million versus nothing. The fact that he could get us another 20 goals next year or something, I think he just sees pound signs. If we get an offer for him, I think Levy will take it. And in terms of Vlahovic going to Chelsea, I think Mary, I would say, is that if Poch is there, and I think because Kane knows the Prem, and with him, you're guaranteed 20 goals, right? Easily, right? In a team that can provide and make chances, he's going to get you more than that. And even if Chelsea spends 70 million quid and get him, you're looking at probably 60 goals over the next couple of years. Guaranteed. So, personally, I think he's off this summer.
I think there's a trade-off. The trade-off is you sell him and you cash in the most you're ever going to cash in on him, given that his contract ends in a year's time. And you can try and get anything between 90 to 100 million for him now. But you're going to have the wrath of the fan base that's already toxic on you. Or you appease the fans, you try and calm the toxicity, give the new manager a chance, you force Kane to stay because he's under contract, then you hemorrhage all that money and he goes on a free at the end of the season. I don't think he signs a new contract. I think he either goes on a free at the end of the year, or we sell for maximum money. And if the boardroom discussion is between money and fan opinion, I'm with JP. I think we're selling him. I think the trade-off is
because the
we're gonna
excuse
sell
will
him.
be the excuse will be still here's a pot of money now because we didn't qualify for Europe. Yada da da da. Here's the pot of money for Slot.
Yeah,
He's not going. The cards all rest in Kane's hands. Nothing to do with Levy. Kane has. He's not going to City. He's not going to have Kane and Haaland there at the same time. Pavlovic goes to Chelsea, ain't going there. I don't think he's going to United because United are in for another striker now, apparently, as well. I think why he does it, if he's got a brain cell, is go, right, I'm going to run down my contract. I leave on a free. And what that allows me to do is I am then in a position where I can negotiate how much money I make in my last season. Forget about what Spurs get from me.
But another year
I'm
down the
in
line.
control.
Okay, but
another year down the line, there's going to be less teams available, right?
But there's also another problem.
Kane,
here,
isn't he? He can say whatever he likes. I'm Kane. He scores another 25 goals for us this season coming up. I can still do it.
Okay.
Still got 25 goals. I want £400,000 a week.
But he now risks getting injured, and that could affect.
He risks getting injured wherever he goes.
Yeah, but not if you get not if he. Not
Oh,
if
you sorry? You mean getting injured in the go-kart track?
Yeah, in the Formula One.
Get run over.
Yeah, and also knowing that an injury could prevent him from going to a club that he wants, will he give 110% next season? Because we've already experienced Kane switching off under Nuno. If he knows he's leaving, which is why I honestly think if Kane doesn't sign a new contract, I think we're going to sell him. I think we're going to be forced to sell him.
I think that
we'll put him on the transfer market.
His ambition to do well for the club, even if he knows that he's going to run his contract down, is really in question, based on what the club are, doing for him and what the fan base, etc. But I think he's going to be thinking for himself for once. He hasn't really done it in the past. He should have gone years ago when people were giving him wanted 150 million for him. That would have been the right thing to do, but he didn't, and that's
but no one paid the money.
Stupidity,
did they, really?
Wow, they would have if they.
Neil, you make a good point. You say you forgot Kane has the upper hand. He has to agree to the transfer. But if I was the chairman, I would say, right, Harry, I'm going to put you on the transfer market. You can't stop me. Kane doesn't have to agree to going to a club, right? But if I put him on the transfer market, then bids come in. I then call Kane into my office or speak to his agents and say, look, these clubs want him now. Do you want to go there or not, mate? If Real Madrid comes in, if Bayern Munich comes in, if Man United, Kane's thinking, whoa. Suddenly, his mindset changes. So I would force the issue as the chairman. We cannot let Harry Kane go for free. He's the most expensive player we've got. It'll be financial suicide.
That's fine. I get that. But if you 6 months time or whatever, 6 weeks time, 7 weeks time, you telling me that if Daniel Levy tries to force him out when he wants to stay, the fan base would literally set that place on fire. It's as simple as that. No one would stand for it.
Are you sure? Because the fan base is pretty soft. I mean, from these last...
All right. Maybe we'd have to... Quite a few of us have to get boxing matches out. But
hold on. What if Daniel Levy said, guys, I'm selling him because he doesn't want to sign a new contract that we've offered him. He's made it clear his time at Tottenham is up. So we would rather recoup money now to reinvest in his replacement rather than he goes on a free. What the fans will buy into that.
Trust. That's what I don't trust. I don't trust that any of that money, even if he sells him, will go anywhere but into stupid investments of play. What the difference is, next season we get Slot in. Slot comes in and goes, I want Kane. Kane's going to be my point man for the goals next season. If that's the difference between winning a domestic trophy and not, then I'd rather him stay and go on a free and actually win us a bit of silverware. in a season where we
think-
could build something around him. You know,
I think Lee,
it all depends what you want,
would,
right?
We would want that. I think every Spurs fan would want that. His kind of final year to be able to actually win us something kind of like before he
too
goes
late.
like
Too
on
late.
that free. But I honestly don't think that Levy would
mess.
allow that to happen. He'll use the excuse, won't he? Like as I said, as also Stel was saying, he won't sign a contract, blah blah blah, and this money is going to be for the team. And people are buying into that. They will. They'll be upset
they're
about
mugs.
it. They'll be upset and pissed. But
And the thing with Kane is, people have to understand, right? If you put him in his shoes, a player of his quality, of his caliber, the last 4 seasons, he's seen the coach he loves, Poch, leave. Then for half of a year, he's seen Jose for half and half of the season, him leave. Then to Mason for a couple of games. Then to Nuno for the first 2 months. Then on to Conte, to Stellini, then to Mason, to Slot. Like, I mean, I've just named 6, 7 managers. Like, it will drive me crazy. In a sense, like, I need to get out of here. I mean, because then there's no guarantee Slot may last a year. I mean, because I don't think we're going to be good because we can't get rid of players. And I think our transfer window is going to start in July, if we're lucky, mid-July. So it's, now that I think about it, I think he's just, it's going to be like, sayonara, peace out, I'm gone. Like,
but I think the stressy thing for me, though, Maury, and everyone, is that I know he loves our club. Do you know what I mean? And I know he would be desperate to win something here. And that's what pisses me off, that we've absolutely pissed that up against the wall the last 4 years, 5 years.
We could say the same for Toby. We could say the same for Vertonghen. We could say the same for
not as much as Kane, though. Jeez.
No, but I think there's a lot of play. Yeah, no, you're right,
team-wise,
JP.
kind of like team-wise, I agree with you. But Kane being that focal point. Someone took the piss the other day.
My point is, JP. My point, JP, is
how many players? Go on.
The point I was going to make is there's players like Didier Zokora, Pascal Chimbonda that have won a trophy at Spurs. The team that won the Carabao Cup in 2008. Yet the likes of Toby, Jan, Dembele, Wanyama, Rose, Eriksson, Son, Kane have won nothing. So I put all of them in that bracket. For Kane, it's worse because 1, he's one of our own. 2, he's shown so much loyalty. And 3, he's consistently performed at the highest level.
The man.
He's delivered.
And for a striker in the Premier League, do you know what I mean? But still, 2 players, the only 2 players who've scored 100 goals in the Premier League, they have that 100 Premier League club. 2 players just to be in that club who've not won anything. Who are they?
Son and Kane.
I know, man. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
That hurts. That's got to fucking hurt.
It's hard for us as fans as well. Yeah, well, this is why he has to leave this summer. I don't see how he can waste another year. Surely he must think that. Surely he must say to himself, I can't wait another year. What's going to happen next year? What if all these top clubs go and buy a striker this summer and then there's no room for a Kane? Then what?
Because I know he wants to stay in the Premier League to get that record, right? I definitely know
I think
that.
so too.
Right?
I think so too.
And I think that the only clubs really left in the Premier League, you'd go Man United, Newcastle, and Chelsea, right? And unless City do put a bid in for him, because I think it was you said that Pep quite likes him and stuff. And can you imagine them having alternatives or freaking Kane
I think City.
Jesus.
I think City.
I think your argument about the money as well, though, Stel, you've got to, I've tried to look it up now, but you've got to look at financially, how much does Kane bring in revenue from merchandise and all this kind of stuff compared to selling in there, how much you would lose. I mean, I'm sure that's going to be weighing on Daniel Levy's mind before he decides anything about whether he wants to.
But if Kane doesn't sign a new contract, we know he's leaving. Who's going to go and buy merch with Kane's name on it?
Everyone, because that's what the kids do.
Do you, if they know he's leaving?
Why not?
Because
the last Kane shirt on a...
maybe
we're going
to
valid, but who's going to buy it? Well, this is the point, though. People will go and buy the shirt, put Kane on the back of it, because next season there'll be another shirt out, so they'll just go and buy it for someone different. I mean, nowadays, most of the kids that we... Honestly, no word of a lie, there's out of the 11 kids that I coach, every week they come to training with a different pissing top on. Even when they know that they support a certain team, they've got different tops on every week. I mean, one kid has worn an Arsenal, a Man City, and a West Ham shirt in the last month.
Is his name Strasbourg Steve?
No. But that's the kind of, that's the way that the younger generation are now. They're not. It's the Sonny dilemma, isn't it? They don't support the team; they support Son, and this is what you're tending to find now. I mean, my boy's only got Tottenham shirts, and if he turned around to me and said, "I want a Man City shirt," he'd be out on the street. Simple as that. He ain't coming back in my house. But he has got like Paris Saint-Germain. He has got Real Madrid shirts and stuff like that. But to see kids come up to training with 3 different tops and they're all Premier League teams, that's just the way that the kids are nowadays. They want to follow the team with the player on the back. Disgusting. In my day, you'd be disowned.
No, in our day, you good luck. Good luck. Phil P makes a good point. Levy won't get a grip of the situation if Kane forces his hand and not re-sign, just like he didn't get a grip of the Conte. It'll be another... Well, technically speaking, Levy shouldn't be involved. Scott Munn. Well, it'll actually be a test to see if Scott Munn's really in charge. It'll actually be a test to see who's really in charge. Oh my God! Levy's getting involved.
You know
Levy's taking over.
You
already.
know it, man. You know
he starts in July. And he starts in July.
Listen, guys, we're going to wrap it up. We've been going for 2.5 hours. It's been a really good show tonight. We've had over 450 people at one point. Well, for quite a bit of the show.
Hit the likes. Guys come on, been amazing already.
As always. Oh, sorry, I missed a super chat here. Big up Dietrich Kane. Sorry, I missed your super chat, my man. He says, if we had ambitious owners, we would get a dog called Win for the squad. Bantering the Arsenal fans. Oh, dear. Dun, dun, dun. Anyway, thank you, Dietrich, for your super chat. Really appreciate it. Along with Ryan Busy, big up to you and to Phil P. Everyone in the chat tonight, thanks for your comments. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, give us a like. Really appreciate it. We'll be back on Friday for our preview show, 9 p.m. We'll be doing... That's it, man. You blow the balloon. We'll be doing a live watch-along on Sunday, the Leeds United game, our final game of the season. Let's see what shit show unfolds there and then. And Iggy will be doing some live shows during the week. Not live, sorry, his Good Morning Tottenham Away. Mari, I think you're going live on Wednesday, right, Mari?
Yes. On Wednesday.
The Spurs Lounge with Mari. You better check that show out. It's really good on Wednesday. And then Will Stewart will be going live after the match, late. And that is us for the week, guys. Listen, enjoy what you can of it. The season's almost over. The pain, the tap will slightly turn off until the new season starts and the tap's going to crank up again. JP, final words from you?
Come on, Leeds.
Mari?
Levy out. Enoch out. Tavistock out.
Everyone out. Lee?
I just wanted to say, if anyone's got any the younger generation that have got ambitions to actually go and work for Tottenham Hotspur, apparently you can get paid 19 grand a year to be dressed up as a cock.
You can call yourself Chirpy. How's about that?
Awesome.
Do you know what?
My CV now.
And you only work one day a week.
Should work for do the headlines for the Sun newspaper. I'm going to leave it on. If this is Kane's last season with Spurs, then I'm going to end the show on this. Good night. God bless. Take care. Leave you out. Enoch out. Everyone out. Keep us full.
Purple and gold.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away.